I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Today, we'll have Alyssa's Disney World trip with a toddler. That's coming up on this episode 478 of WDW Prep to Go. Hello and welcome to WDW Prep to Go, where we talk strategy and ideas and have lots and lots of trip reports. I am your host, Shannon Albert from WDW Thank you for being here for episode 478. Today is another trip report, and this one is a Disney World trip report with a family that has an almost 2-year-old, which always has a layer of things to plan. I've always said this. First-timers have a lot to do. They're not first-timers, but first-timers have a lot to do. But when you add a little one, like a toddler on top of it, that is another layer of planning that is even more work. So hopefully this information will be helpful to people that are planning trips with toddlers. As always, a reminder to follow on social media, but I also wanted to again mention the podcast episode finder. And I've got it up in front of me because I want to read off the options. So if you go on the website and click on podcast at the top, the episode finder has different things. So you can choose by resort. So every single time we have a Disney World trip report, we categorize it by resort. We also will categorize every single episode by month. So for instance, if you're like, I'm traveling in January, what is a January trip like? We've got lots of them. And then finally, we have by travel style. And the travel styles we have are solo travel, adults only, large groups, little ones, and we just added teens because we had some recent ones with teens and we thought that would be helpful because teens are their own kind of consideration because they get more freedom than other kids, obviously, but they're not quite adults. So some things to think about there. We also do have categories for adventures by Disney, Disney Cruise, international parks, trips that include Universal, Hilton Head, Run Disney, people that use DAS during their trips, split stays, surprise trips, and food allergies / special diets. So if any of those things are of interest to you, then they're on the website. And the way that you use it is you go and look at it and look at the episode numbers. So for instance, if you're like, I wonder what kind of episodes have surprises on them, you can go into the surprise category and see that we had episodes 287 and 308 in the last 5 years. And then you can go listen to those trip reports. So anyway, that is how that works, and I just wanted to run that by you in case you didn't know. Today is a trip report with Alyssa, and she went to Disney World in August with her husband and her almost 2-year-old son, and they had a split stay, although most of the trip was at one resort, and I really enjoyed talking to her. So without any further ado, here are my chats with Alyssa. Welcome to podcast, Alyssa.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You and I are talking on Monday, August 11th, and I understand you're going to Disney World.
We are. Yeah, we're super excited. We leave a week from yesterday. So we will be going August 17th.
Through what?
We come home the 23rd. So just shy of a week.
And who's we?
Yeah, so it's going to be myself, my husband, Marcus, and then our almost 2-year-old Maverick.
Almost 2.
Yeah, he'll be 2 in October, which was kind of the catalyst because we were like, if we're going to fly to Florida, we're from California, just, so to preface. But if we're going to fly all the way to Florida, I don't really want to pay for him. So we were like, let's do it. But, that was our only option. So here we are, right getting it in right before October.
And you mean flights?
Yes.
As well. Okay. As well as park tickets in this case.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do it, or we're just going to pay extra to do it, in a year or so. So we might as well do it now.
So is it your son's first trip?
It is. Yeah. So we're in California, like I said. So he's been at Disneyland 4 times. So we go to Disneyland quite frequently, at least a couple times a year, obviously, if you're doing that math. But Disney World is going to be a first. So we'll see how he likes it.
Okay, I'm always fascinated by this. Always
Mhm.
fascinated by the West Coasters going to Florida. So, what city are you flying out of?
Yeah, so we're going to be flying out of Oakland. So we're in like the San Francisco Bay Area. So we had three airports to choose from. You'll see, I am a big, I kind of change things around and like, how can we get the best deal? So we're flying out of Oakland to Florida to Orlando, and then we're leaving MCO and we're flying back into San Jose. That's just kind of how it worked out price wise. We got a pretty good deal.
In big cities, you have choices of
Mhm.
airports, and in California, there's so many.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so how does that work timing wise to fly out of Oakland? Is it all day flying that first day?
Pretty much, yeah. So this will be my husband and I's second time together to Florida. And every time we go, you either have to leave really early and you're still there, by the latter part of the day, or if you leave at a normal human time, you're there late. We're leaving at 6. Our flight's at 6 o'clock out of 6 a.m., sorry, out of Oakland. And then we get to Orlando at 4:10. So we have a layover in Austin. So yeah, that's kind of going to be the bulk of our day on our travel day.
As someone who has a bit of a trek now, I
Mhm.
understand that a little bit better. So once you land in Orlando, then what? How are you getting from there to your hotel?
Yeah, so we did not want to bring the car seat with us because it seemed like an extra hassle. So I toyed with mirrors, but honestly, after such a long travel day, we just want to get to the resort. So we're going to take MCO to Disney. So their driver should be meeting us. It's like a private car service, I guess.
This car service called MCO?
Yes, MCO to Disney. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's like the whole title.
Okay. I've
Kind of.
never heard of it.
Yeah, I have seen reviews from different YouTubers that I watch. They had pretty good prices. It seemed comparable to all of the other, car services in the area, but they meet at baggage claim, which, with the toddler and all the bags and the stroller seemed beneficial. Yeah.
And then where are you going? Where are you staying?
Yeah, so this is going to be a split trip. The first 5 nights we're staying at Wilderness Lodge in a Copper Creek studio. So we're super excited. We rented DVC points for that.
Okay. And did you say this is your second trip to Disney World?
Yes, yeah, my husband and I together. I actually did the Disney College program in 2019. So that was my first time. I was a junior in college and went to a commuter school, one of the Cal State schools, and so never really left home. So I did the college program, and that was kind of my spread your wings moment. I'm very familiar, or I was very familiar with Disney World, but it's been a little bit.
Yes. All right. Where did you and your husband stay when you went last time?
So we stayed at the boardwalk. It was
Mhm.
our honeymoon, and that was in 2021. When I initially booked this trip, we were booked at All Star Sports. And we had booked the free dining promotion.
Mhm.
As I kept toying with it, because I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna kind of do it on a budget. Well, such these things happen, I feel. And so I was like, oh, my husband was like, yeah, it'll be fun. It's still a Disney resort, but staying at the boardwalk, that's his only experience. So I've stayed at Pop Century, I've also stayed at Coronado, but he was like, okay, like we could do it. It's gonna be fine. But I think, he loved the boardwalk. So when I saw these, or it was a confirmed reservation, when I saw it, I
Mhm.
was like, this is perfect. In between that and staying at All Star Sports, or like that plan, we had rebooked with my friend from the college program. She still works there. So she got us a deal at Caribbean Beach. So we kind of moved up in levels. I was really excited to stay at Caribbean Beach, but with the toddler, I don't know. I wasn't super excited about how spread out it was. And he's very picky. So the microwave in the room is going to be a big plus because we bring, microwavable mac and cheese cups and microwavable oatmeal for breakfast, things like that. So I
Mhm.
didn't want to have to trek across the resort to go to the microwave that's in the, main building.
Yeah, I think it's super handy to have
Mhm.
that, especially with littles. Okay, so Wilderness Lodge is where you're headed from the airport.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you can fit in on this arrival day?
I don't think so. We're gonna attempt to do Geyser Point for dinner. We'll see how that goes. Our son, Maverick, he is a I have to be in my crib to nap kind of toddler. So I don't know that he's gonna nap on the plane. So we'll see kind of his temperament. I would love to eat at Geyser Point, but also we've toyed with the idea of getting it to go and, hanging out in the room with the balcony and letting him kind of explore the room and things like that. We'll
Mhm.
see what happens.
Speaking of using the microwave, are you getting groceries delivered?
Yes. Yeah. So I've already started. I know it's like a week out. My husband's, oh, you already have a grocery order going, but I have to.
That's what we put in our 1 week countdown.
Yeah.
That's a perfect time.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're getting Walmart delivery. Yeah. So we have some things for him. Like I said, like we'll bring some of the things from home, but we're going to get like diapers delivered in that order and stuff to make sandwiches for him. I would love to see him broaden his horizons with food, but especially now that we don't have the dining plan, I don't want to spend, $8 to $10 on a kid's meal just for him to, take a bite or just stare at it and throw it on the floor. So that's where the
Mm.
groceries come in.
And are you traveling with your own stroller?
Yes. Yeah. We're going to be bringing it. We got a rain cover for it off Amazon, but yeah, it just works really well for us. It has a big storage underneath that we really like. The seat reclines, all the way back. We'll see. He's kind of in a phase of doesn't want to be in the stroller, wants to unbuckle, but hopefully he'll hang out in it and, let us do our thing. So we'll see.
He's not going to be able to walk 10, 12
No,
miles a day.
no, no. And he thinks he can, but
hmm
also I obviously know better. So yeah, but we decided to do that instead of renting a stroller.
Yep. Okay. So then Monday, August 18th, what's the plan?
Yeah, so we're going to be going to Hollywood Studios and I would like to see us do early entry every morning. We'll see how that goes, especially with the time change. Maverick wakes up around like between 8 and 8:30 California time. So clearly that's going to not, bode well for early park mornings in Florida, but I'm going to try to keep him, on Florida's timeline as much as possible. So hoping that we can do Mickey and Minnie's during early entry. And then, yeah, I just made our lightning lanes yesterday, actually. So we have lightning lanes for Hollywood Studios. So we'll scan into Star Tours at 9:10. And then I'll start looking at different, options. That'll kind of be a burner. I think my husband will write it. I'll hang out with the baby. We definitely want to make sure we get breakfast Ronto wraps, Cocoa Puff cold brews. And then we'll kind of, I think, head into like Toy Story Land and we love Toy Story in this house right now. I think,
Mm.
we've seen every movie a bajillion times. So Jesse and Woody are big on our must-do list. Buzz should be out, so have their times down, hoping to meet them. Then we'll, I'm hoping to I think Aliens shouldn't have a long line at that point because it'll still be early. So we'll ride that hopefully. And then we have a 50s primetime reservation at 11:40. That is technically our lunch reservation, but we're not eating really. I love a peanut butter and jelly milkshake. And when I was on my college program, we would just go to Tune In Lounge and get one. And then I would get the milkshake, get a bucket of popcorn, sit on Sunset Boulevard, and just take in the vibes. Now, they're not available at Tune In Lounge. So we're kind of just going to 50s for the milkshakes and probably like some onion rings. If there's something Maverick might eat, we'll get him something. But that's kind of what that reservation's for.
And let's talk about lightning lanes for a second. So this is your first time on this lightning lane system.
Correct. Yeah.
How was it booking the lightning lanes yesterday?
It was good. So we only have lightning lanes for 2 days of our trip. We're, with the lower crowds, I'm thinking they might not be as necessary. So no, it was good. I think I wish Hollywood Studios was later in our trip. It being the first day, a lot of, morning times were taken up already, but that's just kind of how it fell. But you'll see, I was able to get like a Slinky Lightning Lane for later in the day and then a Toy Story Mania for later in the day, which works well because we'll go back for a nap. It still worked out. At the end of the week, we have Epcot Lightning Lanes, and they were like, pick of the litter, whatever we wanted. So,
Yeah, I think Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are probably the hardest ones, right?
yeah, well, not to spoil anything, but we didn't get them for Magic Kingdom because we're doing the Halloween party instead. That kind of took care of that. But
hmm Okay. So let's finish up Monday, August 18th, because you said lunch at prime time or snacks or whatever you want to do.
yeah,
And then afternoon break.
yes, yeah, that is essential. The weather, I've been looking at it, like the real feels like 105. Like also, the toddler has to nap. So we'll go back and then come back in the late afternoon, evening. We have a Slinky, like I said, from 4:50 to 5:50, Toy Story Mania from 5:50 to 6:50, and then we'll probably do Woody's Lunchbox for dinner. I'm hoping to get lightning lanes in the middle of the day or, at some point in the day for Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. Those are, our favorites, my husband and I. And I'm hoping that we can do those and kind of switch off while Mavericks, I'm thinking at like the animation courtyard, do all the characters for Cool Kids Summer. We're big Mickey the Roadster Racer fans. So I hear you
Mm-hmm.
can meet him in his outfit, and that
Mm-hmm.
will be a hit. So I think that's kind of the plan there.
You have your writer switch plan in place.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And then we want to be back. Normally we would do Fantasmic, but we just saw it in June when we were in Disneyland. So we kind of want to head back a little early, get Maverick down. If we're already out, I do want to try to see the electrical water pageant from Wilderness Lodge by Geyser Point. So that's at 9:30 every night, I think. So we'll either do that like Monday night or, potentially later in the week. But
Okay. All right. If you just saw Fantasmic at Disneyland, that is the superior version of Fantasmic.
yeah, yeah. And having seen it both places, yeah, we did a dining package to see it. So we had like front and center seats also. Maverick loved it, but he doesn't even know it's obviously in Florida, so he'll be okay.
Yes, but some kids his age are a little spooked by it.
He loves, and his favorite part was the pirate ship, which is not a thing. Yeah, he loved the pirate ship and he calls all fireworks firecirks. So, them coming out of Mickey's hands, he was a big fan of. So I think, he'll be okay. There will be other opportunities.
At what age will you start correcting him?
My gosh, he already
It's
says
so
things that
cute.
I know. He used to call Zurg guy, and now he
Uh-huh.
just calls him Zurg. And so I'm like, wait, like that just happened. So I kind of want to keep it as long as possible because once it's gone, it's not going to come back.
Yeah, that's super cute. You mentioned the water pageant coming by at 9:30, and I just wanted to search and tell people that if you search in the app for water pageant, they have a listing for every resort. And you're staying at Wilderness Lodge, so it is 9:30 there. And then some of the other resorts will be like a little bit earlier, a little bit later. So if anybody wants to know the time that's listed, okay. So let's talk about Tuesday, August 19th.
Yeah, so this is our not so scary Halloween party night. So we're gonna, let Maverick sleep in. I'm thinking for breakfast, we really want to try the bear claw, Marcus and I, that they have at Roaring Fork at Wilderness Lodge. It looks delicious and also like it could feed all three of us. So I think we're gonna do that and get some coffees at Wilderness Lodge. I've heard good things about the Gold Rush latte, things like that. So then my friend from the college program, she's gonna come hang out for the day. So we're gonna do a little resort day. Marcus will stay with Maverick to nap in the room. He's like, go have your girl time, live your best life. I was like, thank you. Depending on weather, we might sit by the pool, just enjoy the resort. There's lots of different options. Might go to Territory Lounge, get some drinks and some appetizers. We'll see where the day takes us. I actually don't know what time Territory Lounge opens, but yeah, I should look that up. But we want to be at the boat to go to the Magic Kingdom around 3:45 for the party.
Okay. One second. I am looking this up. Okay, so I took a second to look it up, and the lounge opens at 4 o'clock. This is a common issue with the Halloween party, Christmas party, is people wanting to do plans right before it, and things are not always open, like
Mhm.
restaurants, and I guess in this case, the lounge. A different day, maybe you can do it.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so it's the three of you going to a Halloween party, right?
correct. Yeah, my friend will not be joining us.
Okay, but you are going to be there at the beginning.
Yes.
For there will be a long line when you get there. Don't be scared.
Yeah. We're hoping to stagger it slightly so that we're not there with a giant line of people.
Mhm,
And I'm sure there will still be people. So we'll see. You know, surprise, my toddler does not do lines well.
mhm.
So I'm hoping to kind of, let that rush go in and
Mm.
then kind of make our way in. We'll see.
Yeah, once it starts, it'll go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's a little intimidating at first, and I've done it a million times. What are your priorities at the Halloween party?
Yeah, so we're probably not doing the Halloween party like most people would.
Mhm,
The way that we bought these tickets, again, with kind of like toying with things, we did the 3-day, three-park ticket,
mhm,
and they were $89 a person a day. And then I was just going to add on a Magic Kingdom ticket, but it was actually cheaper for us to do the party instead of a full day Magic Kingdom, which I liked because if we did a party day, the crowds would be less, but we'd have to leave early. And if we didn't do a party day, there would be tons of people there. So I
mhm,
thought this was kind of a good way to do it. We've done Oogie Boogie Bash. We did it last year in Disneyland. So the characters are amazing at Oogie Boogie Bash. I
mhm,
know it's not the same at Not So Scary, but our priorities really are rides because this is our Magic Kingdom day. I know that's not what everybody, goes to the party for, but we do want to, do all the things at Magic Kingdom that we would want to do. And then definitely the fireworks, the firecirks, and those are at 10. I'm thinking we'll, head over there a little early, try to get a good spot. We showed Maverick the fireworks in advance because I didn't want him to be spooked by some of the, the skeletons and things like that. And he is now obsessed with Jack Skellington. He had never seen him before, but
He's gonna be a
now,
spooky kid.
yeah, he like is obsessed. He calls him Jack, just Jack. But yeah, he like asks every day for Jack. I'm like, not yet. We're almost there. So yeah, we'll do the fireworks and then trick or treating for sure. Want to meet some of the characters, definitely the ones on Storybook Circus. I'm thinking like, Pluto, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy in their Halloween outfits. I think that those are kind of our priorities. If we're, still hanging out, Maverick's still in a decent mood, we'll look at doing Boo to You, the 11:15. However, again, it's very similar to the one at Oogie Boogie Bash. If we miss it, it's okay. We just saw it last year, but I would like to see it if we can.
I think you will notice some similarities there.
Yeah,
But so you're really using a Halloween party ticket like a Magic Kingdom ticket, and I think that's pretty clever since it's less expensive.
yeah. And then we still get to do, some of the
Halloween.
party must do. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I've learned the hard way not to push the toddler. So I don't want to put too much pressure on it because when he's done, he is done. And then it's not fun for anybody. So,
Yes, 100%. Totally get that. Okay. So that's a late night depending on how long you last.
right.
And then what is Wednesday, August 20th?
So this is going to be our no park day intentionally. So again, we're going to let him sleep in. We'll see what happens. Let him just wake up when he wakes up. The only real plan we have for the day is a homecoming reservation at 11:45 at Disney Springs. That's our favorite restaurant on property. Probably, I mean, hands down, it's Marcus's favorite. So we had to go there. I would love to get to Disney Springs earlier in the morning. I prefer Disney Springs in the morning and the daytime rather than nighttime. So yeah, we'll see kind of how that goes. I would love to get a peanut butter cold brew from Gideon's. I've never had it. Despite living there, I just never braved the line. So I'm hoping and maybe it'll be shorter in the morning. The cookies don't necessarily appeal to me. Don't come for me in the comments, but the cold brew does. So we'll see. If not, Everglazed is there too, and I've heard good things about their coffee. So we'll see. And then yeah, we want to hit up like the big stores, World of Disney, Once Upon a Toy, the Christmas shop, things like that. So it'll either be before or after the lunch. Then we'll go back for a nap and to kind of hang out. What I'm excited about for Wilderness Lodge is that we'll be in the building, in like the main lodge because we're in Copper Creek. So what we're thinking is, one of us stay, one of us go grab something, and we don't have to, if it's pouring rain, brave the elements like we would have at Caribbean Beach, go down and, get a drink or something, bring it back to the room. We also have the patio or the balcony now, which we wouldn't have had. So I'm excited about that as well for while he naps. And then in the evening, I want to do some resort hopping, depending on Maverick's mood. Would love to take him to Fort Wilderness. I think the Poly would be fun. That's my dream resort. So I always have to get in the vibes. Initially, I wanted to do the fireworks from the beach at the Poly, but now with the Starlight Parade, they're not until 10, and that's not going to happen. So that's okay. Happily Ever After is my favorite, but another time. When I did the college program, I worked inside Cinderella's Royal Table. So I would watch the fireworks like every night with Cinderella downstairs. Just, it was, yeah. So it has a very soft spot for me. So we'll see.
That's very sweet. You could watch it from, well, you said it's too late, but the public viewing area at the Contemporary, like fourth floor outdoor sort of balcony area.
Yeah.
But
I wish they were a little early. They used to be at 9, I think, which would have been better. 10 o'clock might be pushing it, especially because I do want to do early entry again the next morning.
yeah. Okay. Then the next day is Thursday, August 21st. Is this the resort switch day?
Actually, we're not switching until Friday, which is the 22nd. And I can explain a little bit why. So I guess it's not a full resort split stay, but we are staying somewhere else as well. But
You are moving in the middle.
Yes.
There's no rules about how the split has to happen.
Yeah.
But you wanted to rope drop. Is this an Epcot day or Animal Kingdom? Okay.
Epcot, yes.
Okay.
Epcot. Yeah, we want to do early entry again for, I think we're going to try to rope drop Frozen. And so kind of get in because we're going to be coming from the front. Also with the lightning lanes, I got us a Remy's for 9:15. So that'll be kind of, I know normally people say do your burner right at the beginning, but that's actually like our tier 1 right at the beginning.
Your It's a burner that happens to be early. It's not a burner. It's a tier one that happens to be early. So it works the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping to just, do Frozen and then head on over to Remy's. We'll scan in. Yeah, we'll see from there kind of what we can pick up. If Maverick likes Frozen, I think I would want to do it again.
Mhm.
We have a 4-year-old niece and she sings Let It Go all the time. So now he sings Let It Go all the time. So I think he'll like it. Plus, he loves every boat ride imaginable. It's a small world in pirates and all the things. The goal for the morning at Epcot is the front of the park, though. I know I just said we're doing 2 rides in the World Showcase, but with Maverick, we want to do the front. So, like Nemo, Spaceship Earth. I think we're going to single rider test track instead of using a lightning lane for it. I was just listening to your patron chat, or I think it was on the live feed as well, but like how you rope dropped and did test track and there was nobody in the single rider line. And since we would have to do a rider swap anyways, feels like the natural kind of plan. So,
It's in that list, single rider is in that list of things summer travelers tend to not know as much about. So they don't know that it's an option over there on the left side of test track. So it might work to your advantage.
yeah, yeah, we're hoping. So, yeah, we definitely want to do that because, it just opened. We also, definitely want to do like Journey of Water, meet Mickey and Minnie and Goofy. That, we'll see if we already did them at Hollywood Studios. If we have time, great. If not, it's okay. Maverick loves the characters, all of them. He met Tigger. He didn't even know who Tigger was. And he was like jumping for joy. Yeah, I want to make sure we go to like Grab and Goof. I've never heard of it. I think it's new. The restaurant, I don't know what it used to be, but I was looking at their menu and they have mac and cheese bites and cookies and cream raviolis that sound very appealing. We'll see about getting some snacks there. But yeah,
Oh, it's in Communicore. It's like
okay.
it used to be called Festival Favorites. I think it's just
Okay.
part of the summer
Okay.
thing, but it's in that Communicore building.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we haven't been there since all the walls came down. So that'll look very different from the last time that we were at Epcot. So we'll see.
So on this day, afternoon break.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll go back for nap. And then this evening, we actually have a storybook nanny or a nanny coming with storybook nanny is the service. But yeah, she's coming at 4 o'clock. So she's booked to stay with Maverick at the resort from 4 to 9. And Marcus and I are going on a date night, which I'm very excited about because we don't do those very often. So.
You're right. With a little one. Where's your date night?
So still at Epcot, but now we're going to be doing the World Showcase. I love to walk around the World Showcase and like back into all of the, different countries, but our toddler would not. So, going through the shops and, getting different snacks. I already told you he's picky. So none of that would appeal to him. He'd be wanting out of the stroller and to do all the things. And I want to enjoy it and not have to like wrangle a 2-year-old while I'm trying to enjoy it. We did the drink around the world on our honeymoon. We don't feel the need to do that again, especially coming back to a toddler. But
Yes, you don't
yeah.
want to feel bad when you have a toddler
No,
secret.
no, exactly. So there are a couple places we do want to hit, kind of fan favorites. Like we love like the Chosa de Margarita. I think the Tennessee Lemonade at Regal Eagle, that kind of stuff. For sure, a slushy in France, and then that's kind of it. But just taking in all of the ambiance and things like that that he would not let us do otherwise.
And this is over dinner. So are you snacking around the World Showcase or do you have a dining reservation?
No, I think we're just gonna snack. I want to try some food at Regal Eagle. Marcus really likes the fish and chips at Yorkshire Fish Shop. So we didn't want to be tied down to a dinner reservation and just kind of, make our way around. We are just missing the festival. Oh my
Food,
gosh.
food and wine.
Yes, thank you. I keep wanting to call it wine and dine. I was like, that is not what it's called.
No,
Hello.
close though.
Yes, yeah. So last time we were there for food and wine, but anyways, there's plenty of, good options still without it.
Yes, there's an abundance of food
Oh.
choices in Epcot. And I feel like your approach to food feels very Disneyland. Not too many. Let's leave it kind of open and not tied down to reservations.
Yeah, if we didn't have Maverick, I think it would probably be different. We typically when we did our honeymoon, I think we had to sit down every day because I like to use it as a break rather
Mhm.
than going all the way back to the resort. However, we are not in a fun eating out phase with the toddler, so his attention span is not very long. So, in an effort to keep things civil between all of us and for me to not have a mental breakdown, we're doing
Mhm.
lots of quick service. And then kind of, I mean, like I said, homecoming was kind of the big one that we wanted to do. Well, try to figure out and navigate what that does. I, planned it for before nap. So hopefully we're good.
Mhm.
Still early enough in the morning, but yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens. I love a mobile order.
Mm.
So yeah,
Mobile ordering is your friend, especially with little ones.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's like you said, it's not just the sitting down for so long, but it's also like the naps and having to work around the schedule. It's just a lot of pressure to hit the times if you have a lot of reservations.
Yeah, and when we were in Disneyland in June, we were with a big group of us. This will actually be our first trip, just the three of us. We always go anywhere with like extended family, 9 people. So there was a moment in June where I was like sitting on the ground waiting for Fantasmic to start, and I'm literally crying because I'm like having a mental breakdown about like he's not listening, people are staring. He like spilled my mint julep that I got from where the beignets are, and it was a lot. And so learning from that, not wanting to make those same mistakes, just trying to keep things a little more open and not put so much pressure on him and on myself and on, on the day.
All right. So Friday, August 22nd is your resort switch day.
Correct. Yes. So when I mentioned that, we rented DVC points for Wilderness Lodge, it was a confirmed reservation. So the check-in date was perfect. It was when we were arriving, but it was a day short of when we would be leaving. So that meant that I either needed to stay somewhere else on property or rent more DVC points. And
Mhm.
another way, we decided we're already doing it. Who knows when we're going to come back? So we're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge on more rented DVC points actually in a 1 bedroom, which I'm really excited about.
Okay, nice. And you haven't stayed there before?
Now, this is like Marcus's, I think, like childhood dream. He said he used to see the commercials when he was like 4 and 5 for like Animal Kingdom, because this was right when Animal Kingdom was opening in 98, and then Wilderness or Animal Kingdom Lodge shortly thereafter. So this is for sure a big one for him. So I'm excited about the laundry, the washer and dry, so I can start
Mhm.
some laundry before we go home. Momming never stops.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we're excited. I requested a room. There's only 8 1 bedrooms, I guess, at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I requested I think, an even numbered room in the Ostrich Trail section. So hopefully, even though we technically have a resort view, it'll have some of the savannah. So we'll see.
Okay, got it. And what are your plans on this day?
Yeah, so if you're keeping track, this will be Animal Kingdom, which I thought boded well. If we're gonna, do this and we want to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, we want to enjoy it also. I know there's a debate about whether or not Animal Kingdom is a full day park. For us, this trip, it will not be. So yeah, we didn't buy lightning lanes. We're planning to do early entry for Navi River and then head to the safari. If we have time, I think Maverick would really like the Gorilla Falls Trail because he's really into animals and I like it too. Last time we were there, the baby gorilla had just been born. Oh, that was fun. But yeah, pick up some breakfast maybe on the way. And then we're going to do Everest single rider again. And then dinosaur would kind of be the last attraction. I did buy a flight of passage lightning lane. So that was kind of the trade-off. I feel like with that being purchased, we don't have to worry about it. It kind of opens up the rest of the morning to be able to do everything because everyone will be at flight of passage. Yeah.
100%. We often suggest that people just get that one. If you don't want to get lightning lanes for all the parks, at least consider the single pass because it saves so much time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's at 11:15. So from there, we'll maybe get some food. There are a couple places, that we really like. I love the cheeseburger pods from Satuli Canteen. We've been seeing the buffalo chicken mac and cheese. I think it's at Smiling Crocodile. Yeah, that's what I have written down. But we've been seeing that. Sounds delicious. I'm sure Maverick will get some cheese pizza fari, although I would love for him to not. It is what it is. But that's it. I mean, if he's in a good mood, we would like to do Festival of the Lion King. We love that show, and I think it's all the way back now.
A show kid?
He liked Fantasmic. He loved the parade. We saw Paint the Night at Disneyland. He likes shows on YouTube. So I'm thinking that'll translate. He's been real big into Monster Jam recently on
Mhm.
YouTube. So yeah, we'll see. I hope he likes it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Festival of Lion King's a pretty good hit with most people.
Yeah, so we would like to watch that. It's every hour on the hour. So either at 12 or 1 o'clock, and then probably the 1 o'clock, and then, head back to Animal Kingdom Lodge and enjoy the resort. I'm slightly concerned that our room's not going to be ready because I would love
Mm.
for Maverick to nap, but I know DVC isn't guaranteed till 4. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that time. Like I said, he doesn't nap unless he's like in his element. So that could be a recipe for disaster, which I'm just planning on. I'm hoping if he's distracted enough, then it'll be okay. We will likely do the pool if the room's not ready, potentially take the shuttle over to Kidani Village and do like their splash pad because I've seen pictures and he would love their splash pad.
It's so
So
extensive over there.
yeah, he doesn't like pools, but he loves a splash pad. So I
Mhm.
think the water makes him nervous, when it's too deep. So he either insists on sitting on the stairs or being like arms wrapped around us. But I know the Animal Kingdom Lodge has like a zero entry pool. So I think that would be good for him too. So we'll see kind of where that takes us. In my perfect world, we can nap first, but
Fingers crossed.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this day?
No, we're just gonna enjoy the resort, the animals, the food. I know it has some great food.
Mhm.
Again, with not wanting to do sit downs. So we didn't book a Sanaa, even though I've heard everybody talk about this bread service that,
You can get it to go.
oh, okay, okay. That would be good. Just like at the restaurant or at their, okay,
Yeah, I think that is a fantastic option for you since you don't want to do the sit downs. Yeah, and the app is listed as Sonata Go. Oh, you can't see it.
okay,
It's Sonata Go separately in the app, and you can order food right there.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's the same thing as like Geyser Point because they have it to go like that in the app as well. So that's perfect because we definitely want to try it. I also was like reading that they sell like African wines, I guess, at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And the idea of a bottle of wine with my husband at the end of the night sounds like a good way to end our trip.
On a balcony. Yeah,
Exactly.
that would be nice. I love that. I always think the idea of a balcony when you have a little one is appealing because it's like your own little space while they sleep. Like you're still doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And so that, I mean, was a big factor in obviously, this trip has been upgraded from where we initially started. And that was a big factor was if we're at All Star Sports or even at Caribbean Beach, like if he's asleep, nothing else can go on, right? And especially in this one bedroom, he can truly have that space and we can set him up in there and we can still enjoy. Even at Wilderness Lodge, same thing with the balcony. Yeah, and price wise, I mean, it wasn't that much of a jump, which is shocking. I don't mind talking prices. I know, in the email that was like mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to share if you want to add it all up and share it in the post trip.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
would that
Yeah.
would be fantastic.
Yeah, I know our initial package that we booked with the dining plan. It was the free dining plan, but you had to book park hoppers at All Star Sports was going to be like $2,300 for the
Mhm.
6 nights. Yeah, we'll kind of see where we're at with that. If I've done the math right with everything, like with the nanny service and everything included, we're at about 35. But those are
Mhm.
things that we would have done there anyways. We just would have needed to add on to the package.
Yeah, it's always good to do the math because they add on all those extra things in order for you to get the free dining plan. It's, well, do you really want park hoppers?
Right,
Were,
right, right.
were you gonna pay for that? Were you gonna eat the way that the dining plan is set up? Yeah.
Yeah. It sounded appealing, right? Like not having to worry about it. Also, I just don't think it was going to be right for us. And we don't know when we're going to come back, right? Because we're looking at potentially expanding our family in the next year or two. And so it is quite the trek to get out there. We figured if we're going to do it, we should do it. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah. It seems like this is the right decision for this phase of your family.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes
One day,
sense.
if we're open to close, Pop Century and All Star Sports might be a better option, but we'll see.
And the dining plan might be.
Right. Yes, exactly.
When you want to sit down with everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Saturday, August 23rd. 23rd is your departure day.
Yeah, so we don't have anything planned. So we're just going to have the same car service. They're going to pick us up at around 8:30 from Animal Kingdom Lodge, and our flight is at 10:20 out of MCO. So I do want to try the clear reservation, I think, but I also saw that MCO opened like a different TSA line for people with families.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works, but again, we have a layover on the way home and we'll be back in California around 3:30, which is like a mind trip on its own.
I know.
But yeah.
I know, but it's one of the reasons I always like flying to Disneyland because I'm like, I can leave at a normal time, land in the morning, and still have a whole Disneyland day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flying to the East Coast doesn't quite work that way.
No, yeah, when we fly to Disneyland, we're in Disneyland. We're like at the airport by 9:30 in the morning in Anaheim. It's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
you're pretty close over there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this sounds like a really fun trip, and I'm excited to hear about it when you get back. So I'll talk to you then. Have a good day.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome back from your trip, Alyssa.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're talking on Saturday, August 30th. So it's been a few weeks since we spoke and about a week since you've been back. How was your trip?
It was magical. That's so cliche, but it was the best. We had a little bit of some issues at the end, just with the toddler getting sick, and that was not super fun. But the rest of the trip was amazing.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll walk through it.
Yeah.
So let's start on Sunday, August 17th, where you're flying out of Oakland early in the morning so you can land in the afternoon in Orlando.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. We got up at 3 in the morning, which was a little rough, but I'm pretty sure I didn't even sleep that night. I'm like, we're going to Disney. It wasn't too hard. I literally tried to wake the baby up at the very last minute. My dear mom, I don't know what is wrong with her, but she's like, I'll take you to the airport. It's like at 4 a.m. She's yeah. So she came, she took us. We had no issues getting through the airport. My darling husband hasn't flown in a while. So we go through security, we're good to go. I have the baby on my hip, and our tray comes through and it gets flagged. So they like stopped it and, took it around the side so they could check it. And he's like, oh, did you forget to empty his water bottle? Or did you put his water bottle in there? And I was like, no. He's, oh, well, my water bottle that's in there it's full of water. I was like, what are you talking about? And he has like a 64-ounce Yeti water bottle that he takes with us everywhere, especially on these trips, like to Disneyland and Disney World, completely full of water. It's like, okay. So the agent, okay, come on over. Your water bottle's full. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Can we just dump it? No, if you want to dump it, you're going to have to go back through security, dump it, and come back. And I'm standing there, mind you, it's 5:20 in the morning. We're like, but we didn't have time to go back through security. So we lost a $65 Yeti water bottle that morning, which was not super fun to start the trip. It was fine. But, lessons were learned.
I know, but that's silly. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, can't you just dump it? And they were like, well, no, because that's just our protocol, which I understand they have to have protocol, but also it was.
Why can't the protocol be we dump out the water?
Rough. I was like, there is nothing in this water bottle. I promise. I just have a silly husband who thought he could fly with 64 ounces of water he brought from home. So all that to say, he was not very pleased. I wouldn't be either. So anyways, got through. It was fine. We had enough time to get to the gate, get the baby like a milk, we got ourselves some coffees, and then it was already time to board. So we definitely did not have time to go back through, but it was uneventful flying. We landed in Austin. We had a delay in Austin. It was supposed to be like an hour layover, turned into 2 hours, which was actually good because we had time to let the toddler run around. Maverick was like doing laps at an empty gate, looking out the window, pointing at all the airplanes. So it worked. We got some lunch. And then, we got to Orlando about half an hour late. So it wasn't too bad. We landed around 4:45, but we couldn't deplane because there was no gate for us to pull into because of weather. They had been backed up. So we sat on the tarmac for about 40 minutes, which was not fun.
It's a very long time with a 2-year-old.
Yes. Yeah. And he flew as a lap child, which was financially great, but he's a big toddler. Like he's a big almost 2. So yeah, by the end of the day, he was done. I packed a whole bag of activities and he had gone through every single one of them. Luckily, what we found, and surprise to no one, all of the flights to Orlando and from Orlando are filled with kids. Yeah, he wasn't the only one that was having a rough time, but made me feel a little better. Yeah, I think we finally deplaned around 5:20 or so. So yeah, like I said, we sat for around 40 minutes. Our driver from MCO to Disney had been texting me and he was super accommodating. So he's no problem. Just let me know when you get off the plane. I was like, we're going to need to hit a bathroom. We have things to do, but we'll meet you. He already knew our carousel number for our luggage. He was already at the carousel for us waiting when we got down there. So that was super nice. And he helped us with our bags. He was just like super pleasant, not overly talkative, but also just if you were, wanting to, chat, he was more than willing. Yeah, he helped with the bags. We had the stroller, got to the car. We left the airport around 5:50. So pretty quick turnaround from getting off the plane and getting in the car. I was super happy because I was like, I don't know if it's going to be worth the money, but not having to do mirrors after such a long travel day was amazing. And I feel like it was worth every penny, especially with the toddler. If it was just Marcus and I, my husband, it probably wouldn't have been so bad, but it was a long day with the 2-year-old. So,
Yeah, having those extra hands there is helpful.
yes. Yeah. So we got to Wilderness Lodge around 6:25. So it was about a 35-minute drive from the airport, which is about average, I think. We picked up our groceries from Bell Services. I had done a grocery order. Our room was obviously already ready. I got the text while we were on the plane. So that was all ready to go. Went to the room. We were room 6121. And I had put in a room request and we got the room request. I was so excited. Yeah, so we were in a Copper Creek studio. So we were overlooking the lake and the pool. And to my surprise later, we had a firework view, which was so fun. And I didn't know that was going to be a thing because I'd never stayed at Wilderness Lodge before. That was super cool.
So
Yeah.
overall, you liked your studio room?
Yeah, it was renovated. So it was one of the new
Mhm.
ones with the pull down bed. Yeah, I was obsessed with the room. There was so many like nooks and crannies and storage spaces. So I could completely unpack for the week for our family of 3. And it didn't feel like we were on top of each other. It didn't feel like stuff was just everywhere. Those rooms are like really well thought out. Really liked the kitchenette. Yeah, the bathroom is big enough that we could put his portable crib that we called to Bell Services where I actually used the Hey Disney to request it, and they brought it up in 10 minutes. But we were able to put that in the bathroom and close the barn door. So he was just like in his own little blackout, world so that we could still have the rest of the room while he was napping and sleeping and things like that. Loved the room.
Good. And you had said in the pre-trip, maybe we'll go to Geyser Point for dinner?
Yes. So we did end up doing that. We were able to join the wait list from our room, which was really nice. So that while I was unpacking, there was no wait. It said it was a 10-minute wait. We got the text like the minute that I like requested it. Yeah, I was like, let's go to dinner. But, brought some activities for the toddler, went downstairs. Geyser Point was incredible. I'd heard a lot of good things about it. It did not disappoint. It wasn't raining or anything. So they had it's like an open air restaurant, right? But all of those, I don't know if they're roll up blinds for when it's raining and things, they were all up. So we could see the lake from where we were sitting. They had some baby ducks hanging out, walking around that they said were like 3 weeks old. They were so cute. Yeah, they said they had new guests at the restaurant every night. So, anyways, yeah, I got, we had to get a couple drinks to celebrate. We made it through a travel day with the toddler. I got a strawberry margarita. They did it on the rocks instead of blended, which was really good. And then, yeah, my husband, I think he just got like a beer or something. But the food was super good. The server had, suggested the ribeye steak sandwich and the bison cheeseburger. I mean, when they request things, I'm like, well, you work here, so let's do it. Super good, like really good. Or I was just really hungry, but I'm going to go
Mhm.
with both. Yeah, we didn't get Maverick anything because he was not going to eat anything. So he, had snacks for dinner, which is fine. I made a pact to myself that I wasn't going to fight with him about food on this trip. You're going to eat if you're hungry. I know you're going to be all right. We'll figure it out back on schedule when we get home. Yeah. So that is what we did. We walked around the resort a little bit, took some pictures. There was a lightning storm while we were at Geyser Point, so we could see it from the restaurant, which was cool because we don't get those at home. Maverick was obsessed with the thunder and lightning. He's all, "You hear that?" And I was like, "I hear it, buddy. It's thunder." So he's been asking for it since we've been home, which is funny because it's not going to happen.
I didn't realize you don't get those
Yeah.
where you live.
Yeah. It'll thunder and lightning maybe if it's like raining in December or January, but not just like in the middle of summer and definitely not if it's not raining. Yeah. Not a thing. I don't think we've ever had like lightning and thunder since he's been born. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Didn't realize. So that's something new in Florida, among other things.
Right. Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was a pretty good arrival day, and that was Sunday, August 17th. You told us Monday, August 18th, the plan was to head to Hollywood Studios first.
Yes, yeah, so we got on a bus to Hollywood Studios at 8:05 that morning. That felt good because the, early entry was at 8:30, and we did get there by 8:15, and we were in line for Mickey and Minnie's at 8:31. So that went super according to my plan. I was very happy with that.
What did the
Uh
line look like at 8:31?
Yeah, so we didn't get on the ride until 8:55, I have in my notes. So I was kind of surprised. I felt like that was sort of a long line for early entry,
Mhm.
especially considering I would think people would go like straight to Slinky or, maybe down to the bigger rides on Sunset Boulevard. Turns out Slinky was down this morning. So I think
Oh,
that didn't help our situation. Yeah.
changes everything.
Yeah. And it was down most of the day, actually. And we didn't even end up riding it. So that was, not something that was in my plans, but I think that's why there was a little bit of a longer line. It was completely manageable, though. I mean, once you get in the AC, I don't even care. I could stand here for a while. It was hot already, which we knew, but we didn't really know, right? Like, we prepared for it. I bought cooling towels. I bought a fan that was like misting. I thought I was prepared. We were not prepared. As Disneyland people, we were not ready for this. Yeah, well, it caused a little bit of an issue later in the morning, but we did Mickey and Minnie's. Our first lightning lane was for Star Tours at 9:15. So Marcus took both the magic bands and scanned in. I didn't care to ride it, but he did. So I was like, you ride it. I'll take Maverick. We'll go over and get some cold brews and some Ronto wraps in Galaxy's Edge and then just meet us over there.
So wait, I want to pause for a second because
Yeah.
people ask about this all the time. So you had a burner lightning lane to kind of get your lightning lane started, but you didn't want to go on the attraction. So you just gave them both to him. So he tapped in for both of you.
Right. Yeah. Because we would have had to rider swap with Maverick because he can't ride it. So I was like, some rides I will do. Like, I really want to do it and it's worth it. This is not one of them, especially because we have it in Disneyland. So yeah, he just took both our magic bands and scanned. And the cast members, I think they know that people do that. Like, they did not care. They had no worries about it.
Okay.
Yeah. In Galaxy's Edge, I think I told you the pre-trip, Maverick will not sit in his stroller. He thinks he's a big boy. I'm like, you are, and sit down on your bottom right now. Oh man. So I'm standing in line for cold brews. Well, there wasn't a line. I was the next one. And he is turned around backwards. He's looking at me. He's talking to me. He's crying because he wants out. And I'm like, please sit on your bottom. I'm sweating. It was a lot. So we got the cold brews. I sit them down on a garbage can. I'm buckling him in. I'm wrestling an alligator, buckling this 30-pound 2-year-old into his stroller. Turned around to grab my cold brews, and there's only one there. I was like, where's the second one? So I don't know if maybe somebody saw me in this chaos and was like, oh, a cold brew. Or they just thought they were extra. I don't know what happened to it, but it was gone. And I was really sad. And I was like, oh, I did not walk all the way over here and do all this for this to happen. So anyways, I asked a cast member, I was like, I'm so sorry, but I do not know where my second cold brew is. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll get you another one. I was like, thank you. Maverick screaming. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I know, but it's also a lot that someone took your other cold brew. What the heck?
Isn't that crazy? I was like, this cannot be happening right now. It is 9:30 in the morning and I really needed that. So got a second one. Thank you, cast member. Sat down on some of those cargo benches in Galaxy's Edge. Regrouped, right? I'm like, okay, we did not come all the way out here to have meltdowns and to want to cry because it's so hot and all the things. So Marcus came over, we're sitting, we're sunscreening. I FaceTime my mom so Maverick can talk to her. And I was like, Grammy's going to talk some sense into him. But she's, buddy, why are you freaking out? So she's talking to him. I'm talking to my husband. We're like, we can do this. We're on the same team. There was some bickering that had happened earlier. I think just it's so hot. I don't even know how to describe it. Just you feel like you can feel the air, which again is not a thing that we experience in Disneyland ever. We were in Disneyland last year and it was 108 outside, but it did not feel like this at all.
The humidity.
So, yeah, it was rough. So anyways, we decided we were going to, power through. We got this. So hung up with Grammy, sunscreened, water, cooling towels, let's go, right? So we go into Toy Story Land. We had some lightning lanes for a little bit later. I can't even honestly remember what they were for because I modified everything so much while we were there. But I think originally I had an alien swirling saucers for around 11:30 or something like that. After Marcus scanned into Star Tours, I made a rock and roller coaster lightning lane for us for around 11 as well. So we got in line to meet Jessie and Woody. Their line was so long. And it's in direct sun. Again, both of those, the lines at Disneyland for characters are not like this, right? And I've been to Disney World. I know this is a thing. It's just, it felt so different in August, right? So scratch that. So we met Buzz instead. We went around the corner. His line was much shorter and it was in the shade. which felt good. He wasn't out yet, but we were like, we'll just stand here in the shade, fan, and it worked out. We probably waited like 15 minutes before he came out, but then once he came, the line moved fairly quickly. Yeah, we met Buzz Lightyear, Maverick's hero. It was awesome. He stamped his little book that we had, and then Rock and Roller Coaster had gone down. So that was a lightning lane that I had made that we were going to do next. So we pivoted and we did Toy Story Mania instead because it was right there and we didn't want to walk across the whole park anyways.
Slinky Dog being down and Rock and Roller Coaster being down.
Yep. Yeah. And at this point, Slinky was still down. It hadn't come back up. So yeah, there was a lot of pivoting going on, which I feel like that's where the planning comes in, right? Because you're able to do that.
Yes, I just hate that you had to.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Especially because you put all this time, right, into these plans. But it was okay because Toy Story Mania is one that he can do with us. So it eliminates that need for what are you going to do while I ride and what am I going to do with him while you ride. So it worked out. I beat my husband at Toy Story Mania, which, I always do, but, anyways. So then we took some potty breaks and then we went over to Cool Kids Summer, in Animation Courtyard, which was part of my plans. I wanted Maverick to meet Mickey in his Roadster Racer outfit because that is like his all-time fave. So we went over there. Max Goof had just come out and he didn't have a line. There was only one person. So let's go meet Max. Maverick loves Eye to Eye, the song. I have the best pictures of him and Max pointing to their eyes and doing the little eye thing. It was so cute. I didn't realize there were so many PhotoPass photographers in Disney World. So I didn't buy Memory Maker. So I was like, oh, we don't need it. Our photos are included in the lightning lanes at Disneyland. And we don't ever really use it that much. So we were like, it's not a big deal. Well, they're everywhere in Disney World and they take the best pictures. Well, okay. So as I'm seeing these pictures populate on my app, I'm like, I'm definitely going to buy this package. So they know what they're doing for sure. So yeah, that was another $200 later. I bought it when we came back just because I wanted to make sure that I liked all the pictures. And of course I did, anyways, got the best pictures. Maverick and Marcus went inside the Disney Junior Dance Party to meet Mickey and Pluto and all the things. I went to go do single rider for Rock and Roller Coaster. It was my favorite ride at Disney World when I used to work there. So wanted to do it. So did Rock and Roller Coaster, I walked in at 11:11 through the single rider. I was off by 11:32 and it was posted an hour wait. So it was about 20 minutes. I love a single rider line. So we didn't have time for Marcus and I to switch because we had a reservation at 50's Prime Time for 11:40. So I just met Marcus and Maverick over there. We really were going, I told you, for the peanut butter and jelly milkshake and a kid's meal, maybe for Maverick, some onion rings, just honestly also the AC, which I had figured but really needed when we were there. So our server was very nice until she realized we weren't ordering meals for everybody. She was not very happy. She was never rude, but she just went from being super interactive and I'm your cousin this and we're going to do this and yada yada to that's all you're ordering. Okay, great. She dropped off our check and we had been sitting there for maybe 20 minutes. So I understand, right? I don't want to take her table, right? They weren't busy though. So I was like, I'm really sorry, but it was what it was. She just was not happy that we weren't ordering a $40 entree per person, I think. So it was good regardless though. And then back into the heat we went. The peanut butter and jelly milkshake is still iconic. So that's all I'll say about that. And they could solve this problem if they just put it back at Tune In Lounge.
Correct.
So I don't know why they took it away, but.
So to make you come in and guilt you into ordering a whole meal?
I guess, yeah, but and we still ordered, right? We still had the onion rings. We still had the the toddler's kids meal. We still had, Marcus got a drink. I got the milkshake. It was a decent, I think it was a $50, sit down lunch, but it just was not, I think, what they're used to, right? So anyways, all that to say, we finished, we were contemplating just leaving at this point because we were already at the front of the park, but our Alien Swirling Saucers Lightning Lane was ready. And I knew Maverick would really like it because he likes Mater's Junkyard Jamboree at Disneyland. So we braved the heat all the way back to Alien Swirling Saucers. And it was worth it. He loved it. I have the best video of him putting his hands in the air and then holding on and then putting his hands back in the air. That was fun. So yeah, and then that was around 12:30. And we were on a bus by 1 o'clock back to Wilderness Lodge for a midday break, which are essential for us.
Yes, probably for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yes.
get out of the heat, take a break. All right.
Yes.
So how long of a break did you take?
We were back on a bus around 4:45 back to Hollywood Studios. We had been ready a little earlier, so Maverick napped and everything. I explored the resort, but then it started pouring and there was like thunder, which I know, midday rain showers are a thing, but we didn't really want to just step out into said midday rain shower. So by 4:45 it was still raining, but it was like lighter and it was set to rain all evening. So we were like, if we're going to go back, it's going to rain. Let's do it. So we had prepared, we had the rain cover for the stroller, we had sandals, things like that. So Maverick hated the stroller even more with the rain cover on it, which was okay because I all planned for that. So I brought him a rain jacket and he thought it was the best thing ever to walk around in his rain jacket and his Lightning McQueen Crocs. He was living his best life. So you do you, buddy. Yeah, we also, I don't know if this is a thing normally, but we were sharing a bus with a contemporary for most of our trip. Is that common? Okay.
Yes, and I think Alexa shouldn't have to share.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't mean to sound like we were sharing a bus, but I was like, I just didn't expect it staying at Wilderness Lodge that we would need to go pick up at the Contemporary and then go to where we were going. I thought that was interesting, but
Almost all the Alexas share or have multiple stops or something.
interesting. Yeah.
They're not the
Okay.
biggest resorts. The biggest resorts are the value and moderates, but I still think it should just be a perk of staying there. That once you're on, there's just the 2 stops, resort, park, or Disney Springs or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too, because it does add time to it. They're not far apart, but they're not next to each other either, right? So we were on buses for about half an hour at a time, typically, which kind of felt like a lot. But anyways, it was fine. They were never very full either. So like you said, they're not huge resorts. But anyways, we got on the bus at 4:45 and we were back by 5:15 or to Hollywood Studios. We went into One Man's Dream while we waited for our Toy Story Mania Lightning Lane, which I had made 7 days out. Maverick loves it. So I was like, we could do it twice. Yeah, we just waited in there because it was raining. He, got to hang out in the AC. Cast members in there loved him. They were like, do you want a sticker? Do you want this? Do you want that? I was like, oh, please don't cater to him because he thinks he's, it everywhere we go. Anyways, we did Toy Story Mania. This time, Marcus was like, you're putting the baby on your lap and I'm going to win. So I'm sitting with Maverick on my lap. He's winning the whole time. We still won by like 1,200 points. So Maverick's, we won. It was cute. And then my husband admitted defeat. We did Woody's Lunchbox for dinner. I knew it wasn't busy because we got a table, no problem, which is unheard of, I feel like, at Woody's Lunchbox. Slinky had gone back up during the day and was down again because of the weather. We did have a lightning lane that I had made 7 days out for around 6 for Slinky. And we just decided, I think it came up later in the night, but I was like, forget it. We don't need to do it. Again, Maverick can't do it. And there are other things we'd rather do than Slinky. We never did Slinky that trip, but that was okay. After we had dinner, we went to do rider swap for Tower of Terror. I say rider swap, but we had lightning lanes for all of these, which, we could have done without the lightning lanes, but it just makes it so much faster. So I think it was worth it. So while he did Tower of Terror, we shopped and then we switched. He did potty breaks and, all the things. And then we did the same thing for Rock and Roller Coaster. He did Rock and Roller Coaster first because he hadn't done it earlier in the day. And then I think he just might have done it single rider. I'm not sure. But at any rate, we wanted to do the villain show. And the last one was at 7:50 and it's right next door. So I'm like crossing my fingers that it's going to work out. And it did. He comes, walking out, speed walking out. We sat down at Villains at 7:46 for the 7:50 show. It was close. It was close. And I was worried that it wasn't going to work out because I know when it was, newer still, it was pretty busy and they would close the doors. But we were good. So we were able to sit down and watch that show. Maverick loved it, which I was excited about. I told you he loves Fantasmic. So I was thinking he would like this show. And he loved it, especially when Maleficent came out. He was like, oh, the whole thing turns into her castle. And so he's like, oh, a house, her house. And I was like, it's her house. And he's like clapping along to Captain Hook. It was really cute. So yeah, loved the show. I did Rock and Roller Coaster after the villain show got out. I scanned in. So we must have had lightning lanes earlier because I scanned in at 8:10 and I was off at 8:30. And then while I was doing that, I was able to get us a lightning lane for Mickey and Minnie's. And so we started the day with Mickey's and we ended it with Mickey and Minnie's. So we did that. We didn't need the lightning lane, but we did it anyways. It was about 10 minutes. And that was our Hollywood Studios day. We were back in the room by 9:30 and we really wanted to watch Happily Ever After from our balcony now that we knew we had a firework view from the first night. So we rushed. We tag teamed Marcus and Maverick did bedtime. I went down to Geyser Point and got a couple drinks for us and then also a charcuterie pizza. By the way, it's the best thing ever. It was so good. Oh
Sounds
my
delicious.
gosh, it was so good. So brought it back up to the room because you can do Geyser Point to go, mobile order. I was back on my balcony right before the show started. The baby was asleep and we got to watch Happily Ever After and the electrical water pageant from our room. I was like, it's like a date night. It was the best.
Yes, and this is what I tell people. If you have a little one, sometimes the balconies with views are key because
Mhm.
the baby's asleep inside and you still have this thing you can do outside while you're still
Yep.
physically there, obviously.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
love that. Your day wasn't over just because you had a baby asleep.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it was just so amazing because at this point, we weren't going to be able to see Happily Ever After on our trip. And so being able to see it from the balcony, although it's not exactly the same, they pipe the music in and it just still gives you all those feels. So yeah, and we watched it on our honeymoon. So it just feels very, nostalgic to us. At any rate, that was amazing. It was our favorite way to end our day every day. So this day we did 21,285 steps and we had 8 lightning lanes, 9 if you count one that I had canceled. So felt like a pretty successful day.
Yeah, overall, started off
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
And actually, we were like, our favorite parts of every day were when we came back after the midday break. Because that morning time, even though it's early, it is hot. And it's still hot all day, but at least the rain kind of cools things down a little.
100%.
A Mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
So the next day was Tuesday, August 19th, and your plan was that you thought you might sleep in and you were meeting up with a friend at the resort.
That's exactly what we did. Yeah, we just kind of let Maverick wake up on his own. I went downstairs. I'm definitely the runner for our family. I'm not literally, I'm not running anywhere, please.
Okay.
But I'll go down and get it and it just works for us.
You're fetcher.
Yes, that's a better word. Yeah. I'm not a runner. Let's be honest. Yes, fetching. Yeah. And I also just like to explore, right? And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pin trade while I'm down there. I went downstairs and got us breakfast at Roaring Fork. We really wanted to try the bear claw. It did not disappoint. And it's the size of my head. It was huge. It didn't, it was more than enough. Got Maverick, Mickey waffles and some sausage. And my goal with him is if you eat a good breakfast, I don't care what you do the rest of the day. At least I know you had some protein, you had some fruit, you had a carb. We're good to go. Enjoy the rest of your day, right? Whatever. So it's so crazy because I didn't think that would be a thing in motherhood, but here I am.
Every kid's different.
Yeah. And he used to eat everything and now he, doesn't. And I guess that's just where we're at. That's all right. I got us a couple lattes also from Roaring Fork. I had heard good things about the Gold Rush latte and it was delicious. I love a good, specialty coffee. That's, up my alley. So I did some pin trading while I was waiting. There's a pin board in Roaring Fork and then also in the Wilderness Lodge shop. And I didn't realize Wilderness Lodge was part of Cool Kids Summer with Pop Century and I think Art of Animation. So one of the things they're doing is refreshing their pin boards more often, which, was great for adults, but also really for kids, right? So they had some pins on there that I was interested in. I'm not a pin collector, but I do like to pin trade. And so there was one, it was the castle in the shape of a cupcake. It was so cute. It's one of their new pins. And she was like, you can trade for it, but I need you to trade a good pin, right? These are for the kids. And I was like, I got you. I have them upstairs. I'll come back. She's like, okay, come back. Totally did. I brought Maverick down with me. She's hugging him. She's like, you remind me of my great grandson. We wrote her a cast compliment. She was amazing. And she remembered us for the rest of the trip that we were there. just really friendly. I love cast members. They're amazing. We did the splash pad for 2.5 hours. We also met Donald Duck in the lobby, which I think also was part of Cool Kid Summer. They have the characters in the lobby, which was cool. So yeah, we did the splash pad for a really long time.
That'll wear them out.
Yes, circles, just down the slide, around, back up, down the slide, over and over again, which was super fun. And when we got there in the morning, there wasn't a ton of people there. As we were there longer, obviously, more folks came, older kids came, which made it a little more challenging because in the morning there was just like, 1 to 3-year-olds, but then there was like 6 and 7-year-olds, and they're like bombarding all of these toddlers and knocking them over and
Like bowling pins.
yes, yes. And at one point, Maverick's going down the slide, and this little boy, he's probably like 6, he is like just literally slamming into Maverick like over and over again. And I was like, waiting for, there's a lifeguard or a recreational activities cast member. They were switching out, and she wasn't really saying anything. So I was like, hey, buddy, can you wait till we get off the slide? And then you could totally go. So then she asked me, like, those aren't both your kids? I was like, no, that second one is not mine. She goes, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And then when she realized he wasn't with me, like, that's how close they were. She started like saying, hey, friend, can we wait, take our turn? Things like that.
Also, where's the child's parents?
Well, I saw his mom, and her 2 sons kept coming up to her, and she kept telling them, I need 5 minutes. Go play. I need 5 minutes, which I totally get. And, parenthood is rough. I know you need a break, but your child is, causing a little bit of a ruckus. So it was fine. My friend ended up meeting us. She hung out with Maverick and Marcus and I for a little bit, and then Marcus took Maverick to the room. And her and I went to Geyser Point and had a couple drinks, caught up. I haven't seen her in 6 years. So it was so nice to just sit and yap. Like a strawberry margarita and a yap is the key to my heart. So
Did you post that to Instagram? This and yapping?
you know what? I should have. I was so caught up. I didn't, but I should have, because with the lake in the background,
It's
come on.
perfect. It
was
perfect.
And no toddler, like nobody I'm like entertaining and handing a crayon to or whatever, right? Like just really being me. Those are what I like really strive for, in not losing myself in motherhood and all of that, right? So that's a whole other topic. But we talked about everything, specifically Love Island. The reunion was about to be on when we were there. And then the bartender's talking to us about Love Island. And it was just super fun. So the party was not over. I had to go get ready for the Not So Scary Halloween party. She's like, can I come to your room? And I was like, sure. So we got a drink to go, got one for Marcus because, he was a trooper and hung out in the room. And we all just hung out and got ready. And she left. I wanted to be at the Halloween party at 4, if you remember. We left our room at 4:15, which was fine. Like, we were enjoying ourselves. We don't need to be on this super tight schedule, which would have been hard for me, 3 years ago. But we're growing.
Yes, but also you probably miss the rush of people going in for the party that way too.
Yes. Yeah. And so we went down to the boat dock to go, but they were only running one boat and they were sharing with Fort Wilderness. And I think it might have been because of weather. So we were standing there for a while and there was no boat in sight. And so we were like, should we take the bus? Well, at this point, I didn't realize that we shared buses. So I was like, sure, right? Maybe it was a one-off. Well, we shared a bus. It was fine. We got to the Magic Kingdom at 5 o'clock. So it wasn't too late. Obviously, of course, we got stopped at security, yada. We got in, and then the first thing we did was meet Mickey, because I don't care if Mickey's in his magician outfit or his Halloween outfit or whatever outfit. I just wanted to, meet Mickey and have Maverick see him. So his line was only 10 minutes. We got in line. The cast members, are you here for Mickey or Jack and Sally? Mickey. Jack and Sally's line was 160 minutes. And she goes, isn't it crazy? They're here on their own free will. I was like, that is crazy. But they were doing it. Yeah, Mickey was great. Then we had a mobile order for Casey's. Can't go without getting corn dog nuggets from the Magic Kingdom. So we did that. I think Maverick ate like half of a corn dog, which was great. Perfect. He had microwavable mac and cheese in the room before we left. I was prepared. But yeah, and we got a seat at Casey's, no problem. And then we took some castle pictures because now, right, you'll remember I'm like, oh, we're getting our money's worth because I'm buying this package from Memory Maker. So anyways, then we went off to Small World for our first ride because that's Maverick's favorite. So we started the party at 6 with Small World. Did that. Did
And
Haunted Party.
does he have a preference? Because the two versions of A Small World are a little different.
I don't think he cares. The music is his favorite part. He loves any boat ride also. He's just sitting and kicking his feet. I prefer Disneyland, but I feel like I prefer the Disneyland version of a lot of the rides at the Magic Kingdom. So, yeah.
I do too, usually prefer Disneyland, but I can see a world where people like the Disney World version because the characters in Disneyland are very different if you're not used to 'em.
Yes, they are. Yes. Yeah, they're not they look a little funny, a little
Uh-huh.
scary. But yeah, I like that at Disneyland they have the character that goes with the different, countries and parts of the world. And then I think it's just also what I'm used to, right?
Mhm.
So at any rate, right, we did the Haunted Mansion. That I will say I think I like better at Disney World. So
Except for the overlay version.
yeah, yes, yeah. We love the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. But sometimes like we just want to ride Haunted Mansion. And if you go with, it's Nightmare Before Christmas almost 6 months of the year. So if you don't go at the right time, it's been years since I haven't done the Nightmare Before Christmas Haunted Mansion.
And this is why Disney World doesn't do overlays very often because they want to give you a classic experience. Whereas Disneyland, it's more like people like you that have been
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really fun. I love the library scene because we don't have that and the staircases that go to nowhere. Anyways, did Haunted Mansion. I will say I noticed at Disney World a lot more people frustrated with their children, which was interesting because I can get a little, I really do my best to, we use kind words. We're gentle. We don't hit. What are our hands for? Sometimes though that, you kind of snap a little and you're like, I'm so sorry I snapped. At Disney World, there was a lot of snapping, which I haven't noticed. At Disneyland, like, we went on a trip in June, and I'm, like, crying on the floor waiting for Fantasmic because I just had such a day. Everyone around me looks like they're living their best life, and I'm the only one that's having a hard time. At
Mhm.
Disney World, I was like, "Oh, it's not just me." This is both validating and also, I'm sorry that you're having a hard time with your son. But, yeah, it was interesting, just, like, the differences, but
I do think the heat contributes
yes.
because we're all a little more irritable when we're hot.
Yes. Yeah, and I also think, like, what you said, right? Like, people going to Disneyland tend to go more frequently, where Disney World there might be some added pressure of, we had the same thing, right? I don't know when we're coming back. So let's make the most while we're here, get it together. Just interesting. So that happened in the Haunted Mansion line. Then the party started. So it was 7 o'clock when we got off the ride. We went to the Princess Fairy Tale Hall to do some trick-or-treating. I knew they had Maleficent and the Evil Queen from your handy dandy character map, which I
Yes.
definitely had screenshotted and on my phone. Oh, we could
Mhm.
go here, we could go there. So that was fun. Saw them, got some candy, had to do the carousel. Maverick loves the carousel. So it's right there. So Marcus took him on that. I got some jalapeno haunting tater tots from Friar Nooks as part of the party. They were super good. And then we did the PhilharMagic trick or treat trail because Donald's in there in his pumpkin outfit and he was so cute. So yeah, we knocked both of those out and kept going around Fantasyland to Winnie the Pooh and Seven Dwarfs. So we set up a rider swap for Seven Dwarfs. I took Maverick on Winnie the Pooh. It was posted a 20-minute wait. It was absolutely a 20-minute wait. I felt every minute of that wait. I thought it was going to be great because there's so much for him to do in the line. Like, that backfired because he wanted to do everything in the line. But then as the line's moving, he doesn't want to like move on from the thing. So that was hard. And I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like great and entertain him. Yeah, that was rough. But there was a really nice family behind me that, they were very understanding and they're like playing peekaboo with him and things like that. So then we did the teacups with the overlay. New favorite ride alert, the teacups. He still asks about them. And I redid my phone screen, the front of it, and it's him on the teacups. So now every time he sees it, he's like, "Oh, magic teacups." I was like, "Yeah, you did the teacups." So
With the Halloween music playing.
yeah, and that was cute because it like starts and then it plays the music and then it's like an abrupt stop and all the lights come back on and he thought that was hilarious, like the abruptness of it. At this point, Marcus is done with Seven Dwarfs, so we switched. It was posted a 40-minute wait and I think he waited like 25, 30 minutes. So not terrible, especially not for Seven Dwarfs, but I went and did it with the rider swap. I waited 8 minutes or something like that. He took Maverick on the Tomorrowland Speedway and then we met back up and we did Daisy and Goofy. in Storybook Circus. So we wanted to meet them.
What was that line like?
It was only 25 minutes, which I was shocked because I thought it was going to be longer, but it was indoors. So I was like, we can wait 25 minutes. I had snacks and water and all the things ready to go for Maverick. He didn't even need it. He was just hanging out, looking at, you can see Daisy and Goofy from the line. So he's, really into them. We were next to meet them, and then a Das family needed to meet them first. Absolutely, go for it. So the cast members, thanks. And so this family of 9 or 10 people comes in. They took probably like 100 pictures, like individuals, and then a group photo, and then all the girls, and then all the boys with Daisy, with Goofy.
The
kids
Das family?
Yes. Yeah. The kids by themselves, the kids with Goofy. And I was like, absolutely love it. But also, then the cast member starts checking her watch, and she's like looking back at us, and she's checking her watch again. And she says something to the photo pass photographer, and then she's checking her watch. And I was like, oh, they're going to leave. They'll come back. It's a quick turnaround. But I was like, this is a really long time, and a lot is going on right now. So that was interesting.
Well, it's also a big group for Das. On
Right.
opening night of Halloween party, somebody in our team was there to cover it. And the cast members were turning away Das families at Jack and Sally because they were too big.
Yeah.
And my opinion was, if the group was taking one photo, it doesn't matter how many people there are, because
Right.
a photo is a photo. But in your case, it was a big group and lots of photos.
It was a lot. And they had just told me, because we had our book ready, that they don't sign at the parties because they want to keep the line moving. So, like, totally get it. Put the book away. But then this family is like literally taking, I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes. They're taking all of these. So I was like, I get not being able to sign because you want it to go fast. And that would have been a fraction of the time that this interaction took. So neither here nor there. It's nobody's fault, right? Just, interesting. So they handed us a signature card. We met them. Daisy took Maverick over to look at the, backdrop. He thought he could sit on one of the pumpkins that were on the backdrop. He almost knocked the whole backdrop over. I was like, that would be my child. Absolutely, that tracks. So,
Is depth perception not quite developed?
not quite there. No. So Daisy and Goofy got a kick out of that. We said our goodbyes. I wasn't sure how long we were going to last at the Halloween party. And my goal was like, if you're still doing good, let's rock and roll. The minute he's done, we're done. We'll go back. We kept going to Tomorrowland. We set up a rider swap for Space Mountain, which was my priority because I really wanted to do it in the dark. And it did not let me down. So it was so fun. I don't care for Space Mountain at Disney World normally, comparatively, but it was great. Yeah, Marcus did it. I scanned. I took Maverick. We did the Carousel of Progress treat trail. We got in line for Astro Orbiter. We did a potty break, like all the things. And then we switched. They did Astro Orbiter again. And then when I got off Space Mountain around 9:45, we did the People Mover. We were thinking we wanted to do the fireworks in the hub, but then seeing how many people, it just didn't really feel beneficial for us. So we actually got to see the fireworks from the People Mover when they started, which was like so fun. I was hoping that would happen and the timing would work out. And it totally did. That was super cool. And then we stayed in Tomorrowland and watched them. I have the best picture of Maverick and Marcus, watching them together. He's on his shoulders. It was so cute. And it wasn't busy. And we could still see the fireworks. Maverick doesn't care if we're head on or if they're like slightly to the right. Like, it did not matter to him. And we got to do what we wanted to do without a bunch of people. Worked out. Yeah, so we did the Laugh Floor treat trail afterwards. And then we walked to Jungle Cruise amidst all of those people. But Jungle Cruise was a walk-on. Like, literally there was no one in line, and there was a boat waiting for people to get on so we could go, which that was crazy because I know that line can get insane. So we did Jungle Cruise, and then we did Pirates, and that was only a 5-minute wait. And then we did Tiana's. I did Tiana's. It was a 10-minute wait, and Tiana's is right by where the parade starts. So Maverick's still hanging out. He's doing good. I'm like, Marcus didn't care to ride Tiana's. So he's, I'll watch the parade with Maverick. You go do Tiana's and then meet us. So they stayed on that side of Frontierland so I could just find them after the ride. It was perfect. So I got to finish the ride with them, or finish the parade with them. And then, it was like 11:30. That was that. So we finished the parade and walked out. I did a little bit of shopping for the party specific merchandise. So I got like the pin and the shirt. And here's where the meltdown started. So I was like, oh, time to go. Should have probably
It's
left.
late.
Should have probably left already. And I thought maybe we could do the shopping. And that was not a great idea. So it was what it was. He was done. Yeah, it was like 12:05, I think. So he did the best he was
That's
going to do.
That's really good though.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. Yeah, we took the boat back to Wilderness Lodge, and it was a rough boat ride, but we got back, and he was asleep by 12:30. So,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I'm impressed because usually during the parties, we will see the families leaving after the parade. And I'm like, wow, that is an expensive party.
Yeah, that's exactly. And we didn't have a lot of pressure on it because we used this as our Magic Kingdom day. So we were going to spend the money anyways, and this was slightly cheaper to do it this way. And so the fact that we made it all the way through, I was like, props to you, buddy. So it was amazing. And we did about 20,000 steps, and he got to sleep in the next morning. So it all worked out.
Yes. And you had planned it that way. So Wednesday, August 20th was a no park day, a sleep in day, but you had plans for Disney Springs.
Yeah, correct. So so he slept until about 9:15, which for him is great.
That's really late for a toddler.
Yeah, he's normally like a 7:30, 8 a.m. kind of baby. So 9:15, love it. We left the room around 10:30 to get on a bus to go to Disney Springs. We had a Chef Art Smith's reservation at 11:45. So I was hoping we could get there a little early. I really wanted to try the Gideon's peanut butter cold brew. So we got to do all of that. I was very excited. He was a little fidgety on the bus, and we picked up folks from the Contemporary, and we're on the bus, and again, right, it's like one of those rougher moments, and I'm like, oh, we don't talk to mommy like that. Oh, we use yada yada. You're not going to talk to me that way, blah 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 blah. So we get off the bus, and I'm thinking like these people probably think my kid's a brat, yada yada yada. And a lady comes over, and I just want you to know, like, you're doing a really great job parenting. And, there's a lot of kids that, their parents would just let them do whatever. And I really appreciate the way that you're parenting. I know it's hard, but good job. And I just wanted to cry right there. I'm like, I wanted to hug this lady. I was like, that is the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Yeah. In a couple of years, it'll be so much easier too.
Right.
You're
Yes.
just in that phase.
Yeah. And she had 2 boys that were probably like 7 and 9. So she was like, I've been there. And just that small moment, probably she doesn't even remember. But for me, I'm like, that is so cool that like you went out of your way to say that and validate that this is hard and you're doing a good job, So that was really special for me. So
Very nice of her.
yeah. So we went to Gideon's. The line was like 10 minutes. Got the cold brew. I figured we were there. Let's get a cookie. They don't really appeal to me, but we'll try one. We took it back to the room to try later. We got the cookies and cream one, and it was good. I just don't know that I would wait hours, right, for anything there, especially the cookie. But at any rate, the cold brew was delicious. We went to Art Smith's. We were about 25 minutes early, but I just figured let's ask and see if they can take us, and they did. So that was nice. That is our favorite restaurant. We love Homecoming, like love. And Maverick ate an entire kid's cheeseburger. So it was a win for everybody.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of food at this point for him.
Yeah. I was shocked. He ate the whole cheeseburger. So I was like, I don't know what Art Smith is putting in these burgers, but can I have the recipe so I can make them at home? But yeah, we got like the fried chicken sandwich and then the kitchen plate, and we just shared everything. The sides are like our favorite part. So we literally had one of every side on the menu, and it was all delicious. And I literally had to put my napkin on my plate so I would stop eating. Take it away, please. I cannot eat anything else. So yeah, it felt like a really good value also because we got those 2 meals and the kids' meal, and it was like $65 before the tip, which at Disney felt like a great deal. Like we would spend that at home going to dinner here in California. So that was a hit for our family. We did some shopping. We went to World of Disney, the pin store, the Christmas store. We like to get an ornament on our trips. So things like that. We let Maverick shop a little bit. We had some gift cards from like my mom and my grandma for him to spend for his birthday in October. So anyways, then Maverick had enough. So it was time to go. So we got back at the bus stop at 1:45 and back to the resort by around 2:10 or so. So that was our afternoon. And he went down for a nap. And that was that. I got a coffee and did some shopping while he slept. Brought the coffee back up for Marcus. And then my darling friend that lives there that I met with yesterday,
The day
yesterday in the
before.
story, yes,
Mhm.
she was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to Magic Kingdom on Wednesday?" We were like, "Yeah." She goes, "I have passes." They have two separate types of passes for cast members. So she has her guest passes, so she has to be with us, and then we can go. And then they also have like comp tickets that she doesn't need to be there, and you can just go and do. So she's, if you don't mind, I'd love to hang out still. We were like, absolutely. So we got to go back to the Magic Kingdom this night, which was like a very nice surprise. And it was cool because at the party, we did so much. We saw Magic Kingdom, we were good, but we didn't get to really take in Magic Kingdom, because we were just go. So the goal here was like, let's take in the Magic Kingdom vibes, if you will. And we don't have an agenda. And that was amazing because that's what we used to do when we were in our college program. We would just go after work and just like hang out. And I just love being able to do that and not feel like you're missing anything or not feel like you have to do this to get your money's worth and things like that.
Mhm.
So that was really fun. So we got in and we wanted to do characters more with Maverick. He loves characters. So we took him to Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Her and I both have worked at Cinderella's Royal Table at different times, but just coincidentally. And so the princesses are very special to me. So we got to take him to Princess Fairy Tale Hall and he was obsessed with Tiana specifically. He still asks for her. And she equally was obsessed with him. Like we met her, we move on to the next princess who was Rapunzel, and she is still watching him. Like she's not meeting the next family yet. She's like watching him meet Rapunzel. It was adorable. They were so good with him. They completely took their time. Their lines were like, I think we waited like 15 minutes per side of princesses. That felt like nothing. And they just like really soaked it in. And my friend was saying, she's like, they see a lot of like little girls and little princesses and have so much fun with that. They go to Bobbity Boutique, but with this, they don't ever meet just like little boys really ever. So it's like kind of special and fun for them as well. And it was, of course, he's a ham. So he's just like soaking it all in and like talking to them and showing them how he jumps like Tigger and yada. But he also took a lot of ownership over this autograph book. It's a bedtime stories book. They have their own pages. So
Mhm.
he had to be the one to hand the book to each of them, of course. And
Mhm.
mommy was just there for moral support. But
He's
anyways,
independent.
oh, so independent, which is a great quality for when he's going to be like an adult. And right now makes him slightly challenging as a toddler, but really wanting to like foster that independence in him and, help him grow into a confident young man. Yeah, it was super cool. So, yeah, of course, we couldn't leave the area without the carousel again. So we took him on the carousel and he loved it. Again, did a potty break. We went to Columbia Harbor House for dinner. I wanted to try their lobster roll that I had seen. It was good. I don't think it was like the best lobster roll I've ever had. Also, I felt a little weird getting lobster at a theme park, but it's Disney. So I was like, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be at Disney. It was good. It just, we live close to San Francisco and Half
Mhm.
Moon Bay. And so it definitely was not like that caliber, but it was good for a theme park. I'm pretty sure Maverick had a cutie and ice cubes for dinner, but
Ice Cube.
he had that big cheeseburger. So see, we're like, we're good. Eat your orange.
He's what's it called? 1 meal a day. Intermittent
He's
fasting.
intermittent fasting. Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah. So anyways, that was fun. We wanted to go do pirates. He calls it Yo-Ho. That's his, again, a boat ride. We love a boat ride. But the line when we got over there was 45 minutes. No go. Especially not for our vibes night, right? That is not in the vibes of Magic Kingdom. We're not waiting 45 minutes for a ride. So we pivoted and we did Country Bear Jamboree because we haven't seen the new show yet. And I used to love the Country Bears when I lived there, especially Trixie. She was my girl. Her little song, like all the guys that turn me on, turn me down. I love her. So we had to go see her. Cute show. I like, the old version, but it was cute. Maverick was clapping and he loved all the bears. And then my friend had some free snack coupons that she needed to use by September, just as like a perk to cast members. So she took us over to a cart. She's like, get whatever you want. We're like, are you sure? She's like, yes, I'm sure. I have 10 of them and they need to be used in 2 weeks. So go for it. So we got popcorn and a Mickey bar and one of those frozen lemonade cups and just, whatever. And we took them and sat and got a spot for Starlight, which was not in the plans. I didn't think we were going to be able to see it this trip, but we did end up watching it and it was cool. So fun to be able to do that.
Where did you watch it from?
We were already in Frontierland. We actually watched it right by Country Bears It starts though on Main Street. It makes for kind of a while till it gets down there. We tried Main Street, but it was so full. There was no spots because I think it was only like half an hour before the parade time started. So we knew there wasn't going to be a spot, but we figured we'd try. It's much more chill in Frontierland though. So we're sitting there and then they do a speaker that said there were no more spots for the parade, but there would be an additional showing later in the evening. So anyways, we watched it from Frontierland. It was good. Like, it's a beautiful parade. I don't think I need to see it again, specifically because we just saw Paint the Night, and Paint the Night is my favorite.
But
Yeah,
it's hard when you know Paint the Night exists and then you hear a new
right,
parade's coming to Disney World because you're like, okay, well, they did Paint the Night,
right.
but they can't seem to match Disneyland quality.
No, and Paint the Night is so good. The floats are beautiful for Starlight. I just think it's short. Also, there's not as much like characters on the ground interacting, I didn't think. And that's one of the best parts of Paint the Night to me. And all the people they have walking are dressed in black and they're holding their things on the stick that light up. But they're not really interacting because they're not supposed to be themselves. They're supposed to be holding whatever it is. So that was challenging because I just was like, there's so much potential here and it's just not quite, I don't think, fully fleshed out.
And anemic's the word that I keep thinking of. Like,
Yeah.
they need to plus it up to make it feel fully full.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Also, I don't know what happened, but Elsa was definitely not in our parade. So I'm not sure where she was because I know she's supposed to be in it, but Elsa was sick maybe this night because she was nowhere to be found, which was fine. But I just knew she was missing because I've seen the parade online and things. So anyways, after that, we were not going to push Maverick again this night. Like I was like, okay, that's enough. We're good, after that parade. So we walked out, took the boat back to Wilderness Lodge, put him down for bed, and again, got to watch Happily Ever After on the balcony. So felt, a win for us. We got like a snack from Roaring Fork. They have this caprese sandwich that I still dream of. I got twice on our trip and I need it again. So that was delicious. But yeah, and then after that, we watched Summer I Turned Pretty because we
The
are
whole-
obsessed.
And a whole world seems to be obsessed right now.
My gosh, it was Wednesday and I had to watch it. We streamed it to the TV, and watched that and subsequently yelled at the TV a little bit. And then we went to bed. And that was the day. You'll notice our steps go down, though. We only took 16,000 steps this day. So it was actually a very chill, like I said, we took in the vibes and it was awesome.
Yeah. So the next day was Thursday, August 21st, and you had Epcot plans.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So we're starting to slow down here. I ordered and got our food from Roaring Fork at 7:30 this morning. We left the room around 8:15. Which is when I would have already wanted to be on a bus to Epcot because I wanted to do Frozen during early entry. We had Lightning Lanes again this day, and that was the tier 1 that I didn't get. I had a tier 1 for Remy's. We had just missed the bus. Literally, we're walking to the bus stop, and we see the Epcot bus pull away, which is my worst nightmare. I hate when that happens. I'm kind of an impatient person, and so I'm like, I don't want to stand here. Literally, it was going to be another 20 minutes. So what did we do? We said, we're already this far into the trip. Let's take a minivan. And we did. And it was worth every penny. They are not cheap, but with Maverick, we can't Lyft or Uber, which I totally would do if we didn't have him, but we need the car seat. And, we're a captive audience and they deliver, right? It is like a $45 Lyft ride, but it's so pleasant. I'm not yelling at my toddler to sit on my lap and not walk around a bus. It's super air conditioned. I'm not standing up. I'm having a very pleasant conversation with a man who knows everything about everything at Disney World. And they dropped us off at the very closest bus stop to the park entrance. It was what it was, and we loved it. And it was there in 5 minutes, and we got to Epcot in 15 minutes from when we were waiting for the bus. So
I thought you were going to say that you were going to have the minivan take you to the beach club because you had that Remy's Lightning Lane.
yes, yeah. In hindsight, we should have, but we walked in and we did Space Mountain, or not Space Mountain, Spaceship Earth, right there in the front. Because it was still, we got to Epcot at 8:30 and our Remy's wasn't until 9:15. And so I was like, if they drop us off here, we'll have to walk. So we would have been there in plenty of time and it would have been fine. But just was like, I wonder what else we can do. Shannon, the way I should have gone to the beach club, because I died walking all the way back to
Mhm.
Remy's. That's insane. That is quite the walk, and I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. And the reason I mention it is because the minivans, they go through their own security at the beach club, so they don't have to stop by the guard gate and say, "Do you have a reservation? Are you staying here? Are you eating here?" It's none of that because they do their own thing. It's like it's a nice little hack, but you got some steps in.
Oh, we got our steps in. Yes. We went and we did Spaceship Earth because I was like, "Oh, well, we're too late. It's park open isn't open yet. It's 8:50. We're too late for Frozen. Let's just do Spaceship Earth. We're right here. I had a lightning lane for it, but I'll modify it to something else." We walked right on, but then I was looking at, the map on the app and Frozen was 10 minutes. I was like, "Oh, we should have just kept walking." I thought we had missed it and we did not, apparently. Insight's 2020.
But I think that your assumption it would be busy was accurate before Guardians Standby, because that just sucks up so many people that Frozen's kind of the old news.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess Test Track too. I didn't
Yeah,
even think about that. Yeah.
absolutely. They both take up so many people.
Yeah. Well, so we did Spaceship Earth. It's Spaceship Earth. It's air conditioned and it's cute. And Maverick loved the little screen where he's tapping. His little picture was so funny. So then we got off and then, park's open now. That walk to Remy's is wild. So we're walking and then we pass the character spot to meet Mickey and Minnie and Goofy. And I'm like, "Do you want to stop?" And we're like, "We could use some AC for a second." Maverick loves the characters, and you'll remember we met Goofy, but he didn't sign. So we wanted to get his signature in the book, of course. So we went inside and we did them. The photo pass photographers, the character attendants, literally the girls in a group behind us. Everybody's obsessed with watching him meet these characters. It was so cute. The photo pass is like, "Can you go back through the line and come and do this again? Because I'm obsessed with you." And I was like, "You're so cute."
Aw.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great little break. Kept walking. Our Remy's was at 9:15, and I would have wanted to scan right at 9:15, but the morning kind of didn't go like I thought it was. So we scanned into Remy's at 9:40, which didn't make that much of a difference. That walk, though, literally, of course, Maverick doesn't want to be in the stroller, so I'm holding him. And I have a tush baby, so he's sitting on the tush baby, which is better than me just holding him in my arms, but still rough. And it's hot, and he's a ball of heat. And we get back there, and Marcus says, "Are you okay?" It's like, I need a minute. I need that cooling towel. I need a bathroom. That's a hike. So it's a super cute ride, though, obviously. Maverick really liked it. Remy's. And, after that, though, we don't have anything else back there. Back across the park we go. We stopped, though, in the UK to meet Winnie the Pooh. And that was nice. Again, let's take a break. We'll just, he had wanted to buy Winnie the Pooh the day before at World of Disney, and we didn't get him. So we got him in the UK. And then, we met Winnie the Pooh. There was the best character attendant there. Her name was Maddie. She was on her college program. And, they let people inside and then they close the door and, you're standing outside. But we were the only ones still standing outside. And so she bends down. She asks Maverick, "Do you want to take a peek at Winnie the Pooh?" And he's, "Yeah." So she opens the door. She's holding his hand. She sits down on the ground with him. He's sitting in her lap. And she's whispering and they're pointing. And she's holding his little hand. And the woman whose kids are meeting Winnie the Pooh turns around and is taking pictures of Maverick and the character attendant, Maddie. And then she asked me, she's like, "What is your phone number? I'm going to text these to you. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life." I was like, "Thank you so much." So she sends me these pictures. It was adorable, really cute. And then Winnie the Pooh comes over and grabs Maverick's hand and he stands up out of her lap and walks over. And it's just so special. When you let the cast members really get into what they're doing. And, you could just tell that she was just so happy to be there in that moment. Granted, not every day is a walk in the park, right? And it is really challenging sometimes to be a Disney cast member, but she just was so full of joy for her job and what she was doing. And it was awesome.
It sounds like he brings out that side of people on these character meets, though.
He loves a character meet and he's just, I don't know. I'll send you obviously some pictures, but he's a ham. So yeah, it's just fun to see him interact and do those things. He just loves people and I think he likes to be the center of attention. I don't know where he gets that from, but
It's fun, though.
Yeah, it was super fun. So we met Winnie the Pooh. We kept walking, did Figment. We had a lightning lane. The wait was 5 minutes. So used that. And then we got that little Figment Golden book in the exit shop, and it was so cute. And he loves it now. He calls it his dragon book, and we read it at home. So that was cute. Scanned into Nemo. Again, 5-minute wait, didn't need it. It's around 11 a.m. here. We'd spent some time in the aquarium, which he loves. We go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium quite a bit.
Top that one.
Right, right. But I mean, to him, fish are fish, right? Like it's a jellyfish. I don't think there were jellyfish here. I don't think. But at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, regardless. But he likes the manatees. There was a few divers in one of the aquarium windows. And she came up, he's sitting on the ground, and she came up to the window and she put her hand on the window and he put his hand up, and then she's blowing him kisses and the bubbles are rising and they're waving and so cute. And then some other kids come over to the window and then she waves by and swims away. And it was just, again, super cute to just see him interact with these different people. Yeah, so we did the aquarium. I made a note here. I got a frozen lightning lane while we were in line for Remy's. And I had originally got it for 1 in the afternoon. I was like, God, I hope we're not still here at 1 in the afternoon. It's so hot. So I was able to modify it, and we modified it to 11:55 or 12 or something like that. So that felt better. Like that'll be the last ride we do, and then we'll leave the park. And then I made a note by 11, Frozen was sold out of lightning lanes for the rest of the day. So I was happy that we were, able to snag that before that happened. So yeah, we did a potty break, scanned into Living with the Land. The line for Living with the Land was posted 35 minutes. I was like, what is happening at Epcot if Living with the Land is 35 minutes? But yeah, I think we were off the ride by 11:50 and we had scanned in at 11:25. So we were only in the line for, 6 minutes or so. And then we made the trek over to Frozen from Living with the Land. So again, a walk. And those walks in Epcot are wild. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but it is intense. And I don't remember the footprint being that big because, I didn't have a stroller. I was also there in January, February, much different. But yeah, so we got over there, scanned into Frozen. It was posted 65 minutes. We waited 5 minutes in the lightning lane. That's a great lightning lane. And I think that and Remy's were worth, buying lightning lane for the day because we didn't need it for any of the other rides, but those two, I think, made it worth it. Yeah, and then we were right there and we did the Three Caballeros ride. I've actually never done that. It's very cute. It's a boat. Maverick loves a boat.
I was going to say, especially with a boat lover.
Yes, it was perfect. And of course, he sees Donald Duck. He calls him Doggle Duck. So we saw Doggle all over the place. And then Mom and Dad needed a little snack. So we got a strawberry margarita, the frozen strawberry margarita from Choza de Margarita outside the pavilion. So that was our little treat to ourselves to walk all the way back to the front. We weren't planning to eat or drink or anything with Maverick because we had a nanny coming and we were going to go back in the evening. So that was kind of our evening plans. But we decided that we deserved it. We stopped at Club Cool just because we thought that would be fun with Maverick. He does not drink soda. He's like a milk and water kind of kid, apple juice with some water in it if we're feeling really fancy. But we let him try some of these. Oh my goodness, I think his eyes popped out of his head. And he liked Beverly. I was like, you won't eat a chicken tender and french fries, but you'll drink Beverly. Please explain to me what's happening here.
I thought you were going to comment on the carbonation. Sometimes that can be a surprise to kids.
Yeah, he actually likes sparkling water.
Mm-hmm.
He's so funny. So that's, my drink of choice at home. And so he likes the bubbles. But yeah, he just loved all of them. I think he had a little sip of each. But anyways, we made some friends with a lady who was already tipsy inside Club Cool. She thought Maverick was fun. She was walking around with her Bud Light in her hand and she was living her best life. So I was like, okay, enjoy. You have fun. I'll see you later. And off we went back to the front, out the gates. Again, of course, we see the Epcot or the Wilderness Lodge bus pulling away as we're like walking. And I was like, no, but we're not spending another $50 on a minivan in the same afternoon. It's not going to happen. So we waited and it came in 20 minutes like it's supposed to. And we were back to Wilderness Lodge by around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Sorry. So
2 o'clock. You had a nanny coming at 4. So what was between 2 and 4?
Nothing. Nap time, showers. We showered 3 times a day, like a necessity. And we had that really nice walk-in shower with the rain shower head in the studio, which was really nice. So yeah, we just honestly relaxed. I think I like filled up our resort mug and, went downstairs for a little bit. I love having everything under one roof. I think I had commented on that in the pre-trip, but it truly was like super great to be able to have all of that there. So yeah, she came. She was very prompt. She was knocking on our door at 3:57. Can't recommend her enough, and the Storybook Nannies company enough. She was incredible. I was slightly nervous to leave Maverick with somebody that I don't know. At home, I'm with him during the day. I work from home, and then, if we do leave him, it's like with our families or, my best friend will watch him, but not like a complete stranger. But she was incredible. And she was asking me, like, when does he do this? And what does bedtime routine look like? And how about this? And she's taking notes in her phone. When I had, signed up and paid to do this, they had a very comprehensive form for me to fill out about what is your child's likes? What are their dislikes? What helps them when they're, having a hard time? Things like that. So I felt confident. He was starting to wake up from his nap as we were like finishing this conversation. And so she was kind of like, okay, you guys got to go, because the more he sees you, the worse it's going to be. But I forgot that we needed to get her a room key, because the plan was they were going to go down to the splash pad because, he loves it. But I didn't want to leave our magic bands with her. So we went down to the front desk, got a room key, came back, and she met us at the door. She's like, okay, bye, have fun. Because he was like, awake now. And so he sees mom, it resets everything, right? Yeah. And we went back to Epcot, just the two of us, no stroller cover, no diaper bag. Oh my goodness. Remember I said we're trying not to lose ourselves in parenthood. And so this was like the best night. I love my son, and it's a lot more work, right? And so we took a lift, a $9 lift. Lovely. Loved it. Got there. We scanned into Guardians at 4:45 because that was the one thing that we really wanted to make sure we did together. We've never done Guardians. We love roller coasters, and we didn't want to have to ride or swap it. So we were on by 5:15. I manifested September. It worked. My husband was like, how did you do that? I was like, good vibes, babe. Come on. So that was really fun. And it was, I've seen ride-throughs of it and stuff, but they don't do it justice, I don't think. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah, it's hard to capture that one. We've tried.
Yeah.
But it's in the dark, so.
Yeah. And all of the turn, it just like that we got our ride picture and we are just like ear to ear, just like grinning. Our favorite ride at Disneyland is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And so just I think the Guardians vibe is so fun. Obviously, those are two very different rides. But yeah, it's a fun time. So it feels like a party.
That's exactly the right description for Guardian stuff. The music makes it feel like a party.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we got off. It was raining, but raining with two adults is so much easier than raining with a toddler. We just put our ponchos on and we were good to go. So that was fun. We were going to do test track, or we were going to try to do single rider for test track. So we hadn't done it in the morning, but it was down for weather. It was 101, which was okay. It's not do or die again. We have Radiator Springs racers, and that to us is kind of like the superior version. And I would have liked to do test track since it had just been redone, but not the end of the world. I had a lightning lane for us for Soarin' and for Mission Space, but we didn't end up using either of them. Mission Space makes me slightly queasy, but I'm like, if we're here, I might as well make it. We'll see. And then Soarin', again, we have in Disneyland. So if we do it, great. If not, that's okay too. But our goal was the World Showcase, and that is what we did.
And that's why you got a sitter.
That's exactly. So, yeah, we weren't planning to drink around the world. There were no plans to end up, again, queasy, going back to a toddler. But we did have some stops we wanted to hit, like fan favorites or our favorites and things like that. Got another margarita in Mexico. It was like the Fiesta Margarita, which is our favorite. And we got like the empanadas there from Choza de Margarita that come with the corn. And then, we also like to go through all the shops. So we did that as well in every country. But got the Tipsy Ducks in Love in China, which I'd never had, but I've heard good things about. It was delicious. Plus, those little stores back there are cute. We spent some time in the back and we're reading through our different zodiac signs. Just like things like that, small things. I would not be able to sit there and read through a zodiac chart with my 2-year-old who's like, uppy, out, uppy, I play, just the little things. And so then we were reading about his zodiac chart. And we're like, oh, actually kind of tracks. He's a Libra. I see it. Yeah. And then, yeah, we just kept making our way around. We stopped in America and got a moonshine sour and some pretzel nuggets and beer cheese. We made a comment. Marcus was like, what do you think they think about when they're like putting the food in America, like bar food? I was like, I mean, yeah, pretzel nuggets. I'm like, you've got to be able to get wings somewhere in here, like barbecue. It's about as American as you're going to get, I think.
I've seen where people around the world have American parties, and the one key component, it seems, is red Solo cups. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we're so cultured that we are represented by a red cup.
Clearly. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. We were going to try to go in. Is it America Sings? Is that the show there? Or
No, I keep wanting to call
American
them-
Adventure? I don't
That's
know
the
what-
name of the building, yeah.
Okay. So we were going to go in there. We've never done that. The Voices of Liberty, I think.
That's the singers, yes.
Okay. So we wanted to do that, but it was already, later in the like late afternoon, evening. So they had a movie, I think, that you can watch in there or like some kind of show.
Yeah.
Which we didn't want to see. We wanted to go through the building, but they had a special event upstairs. I think it was a wedding reception, which is so fun. Like, how do I know you just did a podcast on this? I'm like, how do I get myself invited to a Disney wedding? Because that's amazing.
I know. And they ended up in Norway, in a private
Yeah.
space in Norway. And so yours was a different country, but I want to see all those spaces.
Right? I know. I'm like, how do I get myself on this invite list? Because I'm going to need to figure that out. But at any rate, we couldn't go through the building, so that's okay. Kept walking. I made Marcus take some pictures in Morocco with me with a photo pass. Talked to her for a while. She was on her DCP. So she was very lovely. She was also from California, so fun to kind of connect. We were trying to see if we could see Tower of Terror from Morocco because I know, that it blends in, and I had seen it once on my college program and wanted to figure it out, but I couldn't find it. So she asked us what we were looking for. She's like, are you looking for hidden Mickeys or what? It's like, oh, we're trying to find the Tower of Terror. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I think you can see it from somewhere in here and it blends in, and that's why the top, is decorated that way. And she was like, oh my gosh, you've given me something to try to find. While I stand here under this umbrella, at least I can try to, figure that out. She wasn't aware. So that was kind of cool to talk with her for a while. And then I was giving Marcus, kind of the lowdown of like how Morocco's the country that's, been decorated and really, designed by folks from Morocco. He's like, well, no wonder it's so beautiful. I think that's his favorite pavilion. Yeah. And then we, kept going. We stopped in Japan. We got some chopsticks, or I guess that's before Morocco, but Maverick is obsessed with chopsticks. And sometimes it's the only way that he'll eat food. He just ate Wingstop last night with a set of chopsticks. So from Japan.
I
And
need to see what a 2-year-old with chopsticks is like.
He's so fun. So the ones we had, he'll just like stab the piece with it. But these ones are trainer chopsticks, so they don't come apart. They have a little bear on top. And so he totally is, grabbing things with them. I was like, all right, you're very cultured. I love that. So we had to get him some. So got some chopsticks to bring home for him. And then the last drink we got was in France. We got like the orange slushy, which I do not remember. I did not like it very much. I think when I was there, it was definitely Festival of the Arts when I got a slushy. And it was definitely like a more rosé, like frosé kind of thing. And I'm thinking it was for Festival of the Arts because that was nowhere to be found. And I did not like this orange drink. So anyway, it kind of tastes like a creamsicle, which I'm not a fan of. But Marcus drank it. He was, more than happy to take one for the team. So we stood in line for the brioche ice cream sandwich, which I knew he would love. And I know they they can sell out depending on how busy it is. They did not sell out. There was plenty. So yeah, we got that. And we got like the apple ice cream in the middle. Hands down, he said it was his favorite thing we had in Epcot. That was really
Nice.
cool. Yeah, it was raining all evening and it had stopped briefly. So he took his poncho off and he threw it away. I was like, what are you doing? He's, it's not raining anymore. I don't need it. I was like, babe, it's Florida. Like, it's going to continue to rain. He's like, I don't think so. I was like, listen, I'm not buying you a poncho. We came with ponchos. So if you throw it away, you're on your own. He's okay. Threw it away. It starts pouring. He goes, I think I might have made a mistake. I was like, yeah, I think you might have made a mistake. So anyways, we're not buying a poncho. I'm not spending $20 on a poncho. So he walked around slightly wet all night. That was, his choice. He goes, well, I learned my lesson. I will never throw a poncho away again. It's like, Good idea. Not in Florida.
Yeah, you still had another day left too.
Right. Well, we had extras in the room, but I had only brought the and like with us. So anyways, yeah, so then we got some fish and chips in France. In the UK, that was dinner. Yeah, we like looked at our family crest. My father-in-law's really into history, so I wanted to be able to tell him about his last name. And, of course, they're like, okay, you can't take a picture, but memorize as much as you can, or you can spend the $40 to like get the picture of your family crest, which is not happening. At least not from me. Yeah, and then we just kind of called it. We wanted to walk through the Moana Journey of Water just because we haven't seen it. It's beautiful. And then we got a lift and went back to Wilderness Lodge. The nanny had told us, she's like, take your time. I had booked them until 9 o'clock. So I had booked 5 hours. So she's, if want to stay longer, don't worry about it. I'm flexible. I don't have any plans. If you stay the extra time, I'll just, bill, or like the company will bill you for the extra money. I was like, okay, no problem. Love the flexibility. We were back by 9:15. So I was like, well, how much do I owe you? I'm trying to do the math. I think would be like $10 for the extra 15 minutes. She's like, it's 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I totally would have. But yeah, she was incredible. I had texted her when we were in France because I was like, I can't take it anymore. I got to know how he's doing. Marcus says he's fine. I was like, but what if he needs me? Like, he doesn't need me. We've been over this. He's independent. And she was like, please don't worry. You can text me as much as you want. I'm more than happy, to talk. She sent me a picture of him. They read Figment twice. He ate his macaroni and cheese great. He went down for bed great. He hasn't had one tantrum. He's amazing. I was like, love it. Love it. At least he knows if he's going to be a little naughty, let's be naughty for mom and dad and not random strangers. I'll take it. We got back and she was like, I love him. He's great. Thank you so much. The splash pad had been down, so they stayed in the room. She played with him for 5 hours. And I was like, I love my son.
Oh, he was still awake when you got there.
Well, okay, so I guess they played for 4 hours. No, he went to bed at 8 o'clock. But seriously,
that's a long time in a hotel room.
Right. I'm like, you were worth every penny because the way I cannot play Cars and Magnetiles and Buzz and Woody for 4 hours, there's no way. But she was like, he's amazing and he's really good at communicating and he was able to like tell me what he wants. She's like, how is he only going to be 2? And just talking so highly of him. I was like, I really appreciate like you being here. You were incredible. So I got her Venmo so I could tip her and then sent her on her way. She legit looked like a Disney princess, and I think Maverick thought she was. So when he woke up the next morning, he was like, oh, Miss Madison, Miss Madison. So he did not miss us, and he had a lot of fun with her.
He's going to love school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, he goes to the church nursery and stuff, and I pick him up. He's like, my friend. And so, anyways, this day we did 25,400 steps. So there it is. I was like, and I felt it. We only did 6 lightning lanes, but that wasn't really the goal of the day. But the steps were a lot.
But I think you get extra credit because it was hot and rainy.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's like a heat index, but it's a step index.
Right.
Like it felt like you walked 37,000 steps.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. And this was by far the most steps we took of any day, and we felt it.
A mochi moment from Tara, who writes, for years, all my doctor said was eat less and move more, which never worked. But you know what does? The simple eating tips from my nutritionist at Mochi. And after losing over 30 pounds, I can say you're not just another GLP-1 source. You're a life source. Thanks, Tara. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Tara is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Yeah.
You had another full day, but you had to switch resorts on this one. So Friday, August 22nd.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we were so sad to leave Wilderness Lodge, like really sad. I'm so happy. I think we talked in the pre-trip about how I had like gradually upgraded, and this was like by far the best fit for our family. I don't regret it at all. I can't say enough good things about, Wilderness Lodge and Copper Creek. So we were very sad to leave, but we had packed up the night before, so we finished packing this morning, and then I wanted to be at Animal Kingdom for early entry at 7:30. That did not happen, which is okay. So We took our luggage to Bell Services around 8 a.m., which, is still early. If it was any other park, it would have been great. But Marcus picked up coffees and Mickey waffles for Maverick from Roaring Fork while I did the Bell Services and luggage. This morning, Maverick woke up and he was coughing. I was like, oh, please, this is not going to be good. He has asthma, and his asthma is triggered when he gets sick. And I know that, right? So I always bring his nebulizer and his inhaler and all of the things whenever we travel, regardless. I was hoping to not have to need them. He does like a daily nebulizer steroid anyways, but I started hearing him coughing and I was like, oh no, please. So anyways, he's still in good spirits though. Yeah, so we took another minivan. Surprise, I spoiled my husband once and this was his favorite thing ever. So Marcus was like, should we take a minivan? We're kind of late already. And I was like, sure, okay. Again, we're this far in. This is not great financial advice. Like, I'm not a financial advisor, but I was like, well, what's another $50? Like, we've already spent God knows how much money. Took the minivan, super relaxing, loved them. We got to Animal Kingdom. The plan was we didn't have lightning lanes this day. So I had wanted to do Navi River Journey during early entry and then do the safari when the park opened. So we're already there past park open, obviously. It's 8:30. And we go back to the safari. It said it was 10 minutes. By the time we get back there, it was 45 minutes. And I was like, ooh, not with the baby. And again, it's hot. I feel like Animal Kingdom is hotter than the rest. So we're standing there. Again, not great financial advice. We're like, should we buy lightning lanes for the day? Let's just be done with Animal Kingdom. Like, it's been a long trip. So I'm like, okay, if the times are still good, we'll buy lightning lanes and it'll make the day far easier. As a matter of fact, the times were great. And I knew even if they weren't, I'd be able to modify them just because, I'm so used to doing that at Disneyland and here. So got the lightning lanes. My original 3 lightning lanes were the Safari for 10:50 to 11:50, Everest for 9:30 to 10:30, and Navi River from 2:30 to 3:30. So for the day of, I was like, clearly not a lot of people buy lightning lanes at Animal Kingdom, which, you really don't need them, but we just were kind of had it and Maverick's coughing and all the things. So anyways, we went through the Gorilla Falls Trail to wait for the lightning lane to be ready. But at this point, it's only 8:45 in the morning. So I was trying to modify it while we were doing it. And I was able to modify it for 9:10 to 10:10 while we were through the Gorilla Falls Trail. So that was perfect. So the minute we were done with that, our safari was already ready. We got to see the gorilla that we saw on our honeymoon when she was just like weeks old. So that was really cool. I was like, oh my gosh, like just a testament to time. Obviously, our son and our marriage are a testament to the years we've been together. But to see a living animal that we've saw 4 years ago and is now like a, bigger gorilla, it was crazy. Just, I don't know. It was cool to see. Maverick loved the gorillas, of course. And then we did the safari. It was a really good safari. There was lots of animals out. We saw, I think, a baby giraffe. And I think there was like a baby elephant or like a smaller elephant at one point. Funny though, because he was more interested in the safari guide on the top of the truck than the literal animals outside the truck. I'm like, look, there's a baby giraffe and he's elephant and, all these different animals. It's okay, but they're literally right there. And, that's fine. Live your life. He still talks about okapis. So funny what they cling on to. I don't know if he likes the word or if he thought the animal was cool, but
to be fair, it is kind of a fun word. So it makes sense. I also think he seems like a kid that's going to love reading.
yes. Oh, he loves to read. Yeah. We read to him at night, but then he will take the book and tell us the story without, he's not saying all the words, but,
In a couple of years, he'll be able to read them himself.
Yeah. Yeah. He was telling my mother-in-law the other day about the okapis, and she's like, what is he saying? I was like, it's an animal, I swear. Look it up. She's like, oh my gosh, it totally is. I think they have him at the San Francisco Zoo. So she's, oh, that's what that is. Anyways, so we did the safari. I was also able to modify, all the lightning lanes I was modifying all day, but the Navi River Journey, I was hoping to not be at the park at 2:30 in the afternoon. And so I was able to get it pushed up to 10:50 to 11:50. Which was perfect because we had a flight of passage at 11:15 to 12:15 that I had pre-purchased. At this point, it's starting to have storms roll in, like we can see in the sky and the weather app. And so I was like, if we want to do Everest, we need to do Everest now before it starts raining because it will go down and it'll be 101 until the rain goes away. So we modified that lightning lane and went and did that directly next. We rider swapped that. I checked in for our Southwest flight, like sitting on the ground with Maverick while Marcus is riding Everest. It's just such a bizarre thing. Like you're in Disney World and then it's, oh, like real life starts tomorrow.
It's such a bummer.
It was such a bummer. I started to be sad that our trip was ending on like Wednesday. And that's such, I think it's maybe a planner thing because I'm still smack in the middle of my vacation, but I'm like, it's almost over. Like I've been planning this for so long, like just all the feels. Yeah. Anyways, checked in for our flight and then we rider swapped. It started raining the minute I stepped off the Everest trains. Like we did that perfect. I couldn't have planned it better. So I had packed a bag for the day because we were transferring to Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I've heard horror stories of, luggage not being at the next resort. And so I had packed things like, swimsuit and change of clothes and things like that. Well, I had taken out all of the rain gear because it's so dumb, literally so dumb. But every day it's been storming at 2 p.m. So I'm like, well, we won't need it. We're going to not be at Animal Kingdom that long. Let's take it out and make room. Wrong. The weather said, oh, you didn't pack your rain gear? Let me storm for the rest of the day. So, we were like hopping under coverage and things like that. Got over to Pandora and we went inside Satuli Canteen, had lunch. We just shared like the ocean bowl and got like a kid's meal and cheeseburger bao bun. This point, Maverick's not eating hardly anything, not even just not food, but not snacks either, which is very telling of, how he's feeling. So that's not great, but he's still talking and hanging out and laughing and it's okay. So then we had lunch and we had the Navi River Journey Lightning Lane and the Flight of Passage. So what we did was one of us did Flight of Passage. The other one took Maverick on the Navi River Journey ride and then we switched. So he got to ride the ride twice and it gave the adult something to do with him in the area. And it's a boat ride. It was perfect. The lines for these were intense. The line for Navi River Journey was 75 minutes when we scanned in. And, Flight of Passage, it was like 95 minutes the whole day. But glad we had the lightning lanes because that would not have happened, obviously. Yeah, and we got like oh my gosh, I'm blanking, a night blossom. We got a night blossom. Maverick loved that. He did drink that. So he was still drinking like liquids and things, just was not hungry, I guess. So yeah, all that was good. And then I think after that, the last thing we wanted to do was Dinosaur because it's closing and we're not going to be able to do it. And I know they're doing Indiana Jones with it, but we have Indiana Jones, so we're like, we have a soft spot for Dinosaur. So that's a trek, right? Obviously, but we did that. It's raining though, so the heat didn't feel as bad because it's been drizzling the whole day. Yeah, we did Dinosaur. While Marcus was riding Dinosaur, I took Maverick to meet Chip and Dale in their dinosaur costumes. He thought they were pajamas. It was so cute. He thought, oh, dinosaur jammy, dinosaurs. I was like, yeah.
Does he have dinosaur jammies?
He does. So we told them all about our dinosaur jammies. Yes. And he thought they were great. So again, I have the best pictures. And yeah, he had a lot of fun with them. So that was the last thing that we did in Animal Kingdom. There wasn't really anything else that we wanted to do. I would have liked to do the Lion King show, Festival of the Lion King, but just we were ready to go. The rain made it kind of hard. We got that giant ice cream sandwich, the strawberry shortcake ice cream sandwich at Dino Bites in Dinosaurland or in Dino Land. It was delicious. Yeah, it was huge and super good. So that would be a good snack credit if you were on the dining plan because it was great. So yeah, and then we were on a bus by 2:00 to Animal Kingdom Lodge. Here is where the day goes sideways because I was really excited to switch resorts and I knew our room wasn't going to be ready because it's DVC and it was a 1-bedroom villa. And my luck, it was not ready. And they did not text us until 4:10. 4:00 is when they're guaranteed. They really stick to that. So we took Maverick to the pool. We wanted to do the splash pad at Kidani Village, but that would have required like another shuttle or walking all the way over there. And it was just kind of a lot. It looked like it was going to rain. And so we were like, I don't want to take the shuttle all the way over there, get to Kidani Village, and then can't even use the splash pad because it's down for weather. And that was what we were scared of. So we're like, well, we'll just do the pool here. It never went down. We totally could have gone over there and it would have been a far nicer afternoon because he would have been able to be more self-sufficient at the splash pad and we could have hung out and watched. with the pool, right? Obviously, I'm not going to let him like go in the pool by himself. So that means one of us needs to be in the pool with him the whole time. We tried to get him to eat again. Didn't happen. We got a couple drinks. There were, some frustrations, I think, with the weather and the heat and the room not being ready, which is it's not Disney's fault. They're guaranteed by 4. It was like my planning of it with a toddler was not great. But
And your gap just happens to be his nap time, and he's not
right,
feeling good.
right, correct. It was a slew of things that did not go very well. Our room was ready at 4:10, and I had put in a room request on the app, like I had done for Wilderness Lodge, but I had checked it when I checked in. I had said, can we prioritize the room being ready earlier over any of the room requests? I just would love to be in the room as soon as possible. So we actually did get the room request that I had asked for originally, which was great. The 1-bedrooms are technically resort view 1-bedrooms, but some of them you can see a savannah from your room. So I had requested, an even numbered room in the ostrich trail section, and we got it. So we did have a savannah view room. The room was amazing. I wish we were there longer. I started a load of laundry, which was like so fun. I was like, I could do laundry. I don't have to come home with nasty, sweaty, stinky clothes. This is amazing. Literally, this 1-bedroom is like the size of my first apartment. It was really cool. It was too late for nap time. So we were like, we're just going to power through. At this point, Maverick's wheezing, which I'm not surprised by. We start the nebulizer, do the things, give him some ibuprofen. I again used the Hey Disney, got a pack and play for him. It's up in 10 minutes. We got our luggage from Bell Services, just hung out in the room. After he did the nebulizer, he was feeling better. So he was like in better spirits, still didn't want to eat, but we were like, okay, let's take him down to see some of the animals, and then we'll do an early bedtime. So that's what we did. We went downstairs, explored the resort a little bit. That is a difficult resort to navigate with a stroller because there's so many stairs. And I knew there were stairs. I've been there, but not with a stroller. That was interesting. It's like a lot of elevators, which, is what it is. But we went out to the savannah and we, saw some animals. It was thunder and lightning again. And so he thought that was really cool. We went to this overlook off the main lobby, and there was a really sweet couple out there. They're probably mid-40s. They're sitting in the rocking chairs and they're, overlooking the savannah. And we go out there, we're like, oh, I'm sorry. We'll just be a second. Maverick has his trucks. He's loud. They have their glasses of wine. They are living their best adult life. They were like, no, don't apologize. Park him right in front of us. There's a giraffe right there. Like, oh, really? It's okay. They were like, honey. And so then they start talking to us. And they're like, we were just talking about, they were there on vacation with their 17 and their 19-year-old. And they were like, I was just crying. The wife's talking to me. I was just crying because this is the first time all trip I haven't been with my kids. And she's like, it goes so incredibly fast. And, Maverick is throwing his truck out the stroller. And she's, I know you're probably overwhelmed. I know it's been a lot. She's, but you're giving him memories that, are going to last. He's not going to remember this, but you guys are. And it goes so fast. So take it all in because, it really is such a quick time that you have with them at this age. And when she told me she was crying, I was like, well, I was just crying because I'm overwhelmed and we're having a hard day. And she was like, it's okay to be overwhelmed, but just, try to take it in as much as you can. So that was so cool just to talk with them. And, to us, they look like they're living their best life. And they are, right? They've done what we've done. They've been the young family. But now they're reflecting on, I wish we could go back for a second and be that young family again. And so that made me want to cry all over again because, I think the days are long sometimes, but the years are so short and just puts it in perspective. And I'm so glad that we took this trip. Was it the easiest thing we've ever done? No. But to be able to have these family memories with him, they're priceless. So anyways, not to be sentimental, but it was special.
Might as well.
Yeah, it was special. So anyways, that was really cool. I think we needed to hear that from them. Finished exploring the resort. We went down to, is it Simba's clubhouse or cub house or something like that? What a cool space. I don't know that Wilderness Lodge has something like that. It was super cool. And so they had coloring pages in there and they had, movies on and baby toys and blocks and, just a great space for families. I think, especially it was raining. It rained all night. And so the pool was closed and everything, getting to see that was cool. We took a coloring page and some crayons back with us. They were like, take whatever you want. Yeah, so Maverick end capped the night coloring on the balcony. He colored his little elephant picture, and we saw like zebras out there and the ostrich, and there was some, I'm not sure what they were, some kind of, feeding on the grass animal. But yeah, we put him to bed, finished the laundry, and then he was up all night. I wasn't surprised. This is very common in our household with the asthma. So we were doing like nebulizer treatments all evening, all night. He's in our bed. Thankfully, it was a king bed, so didn't really feel him. So there's a lot of space, but I felt really bad for him. And we were flying home the next day. So
Yeah,
not great.
that's really rough. As a fellow asthmatic, I totally understand. But also the nebulizer treatments and inhalers, they kind of wire you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard to sleep. You need it to
Yep.
breathe, but also can't sit still, can't sleep.
Nope, absolutely not. So, yeah, and the steroid he takes every day, it's just like a low dose steroid to help, build his lungs, but that also does wire him. Yeah. It's kind of rough sometimes at night, but that's okay. Again, like that mom said, like this is such a blip in, the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, I feel like we didn't give Animal Kingdom Lodge its worth because it was a rough day and a rough night. I would love to go back there when I don't have a wheezing 2-year-old and when we have more time than just a night, because I think it would have been really cool to stay there a little longer. I will say the Mara being all the way downstairs, slightly challenging to get to. At Wilderness Lodge, Roaring Fork is just so convenient. So I feel like it had an unfair advantage because, we really were at Wilderness Lodge for 5 nights and everything's so close. And this is bigger, but it's a beautiful resort regardless.
Yeah, but some of the things that you pointed out that you liked about Wilderness Lodge are not true at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Like you can't obviously sit on your balcony and watch fireworks.
Right.
And it sounds like you like the pool and splash pad area quite a bit. So that could just be, what works best for your family too.
Yeah, we liked the animals. So this was Marcus's childhood dream to stay at or at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And so he was like out on the balcony every like 20 minutes, like trying to see if he saw any animals. And at 12:15 in the morning when, we're up, and he went out and there was like a giraffe right there outside our balcony. And so that was cool for him, really, especially. But I did ask him and he said he preferred Wilderness Lodge. So it was like a bucket list, pipe dream for his 5-year-old self. But I do think Wilderness Lodge was the best fit for our family.
But I'm glad most of the trip you did get to spend there.
Yes.
So that was the end of Friday. And then the next morning you were flying home.
Correct. Yeah. So this is, I was going to say uneventful. That is not true, but uneventful in the terms of we didn't have any parks or breakfast or anything. We got in the shuttle at 8:15. That same service came and picked us up. But I say shuttle, it was literally like a small shuttle bus that they came to pick us up in. And they knew it was just the 3 of us and it was a private transportation, but we just had this huge shuttle bus, which was kind of cool. Yeah, uneventful ride back. Maverick's wheezing. He's not having a good time. I was dreading the flight home and then I felt bad, right? I'm like, I'm putting my sick child on an airplane, but we have to get home. I can't be stuck in Florida. But I know he's not well, and I know that that's how germs right? And I just was like, what are we supposed to do? I just felt really bad. So we got on the plane, did his nebulizer treatment, and we have a portable nebulizer, so we don't have to plug in everywhere, obviously. But we're doing it like in the terminal at the gate. Get on the plane. We were stuck on the tarmac for an hour and a half because of weather. So hard, like very challenging. And I had booked a 10:20 flight home thinking we'll get out before the storms start, right? I know the afternoon is an issue. Wrong. It was rough. So that turned our 4-hour flight to Phoenix into 5.5 hours. That was hard. He cried a significant amount of the flight because he's not feeling well. Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot of sleepless, restless sleep. And again, we're flying with him as a lap child and, he's just having a hard time. So at one point, I took him in the bathroom so I could do his, breathing treatment and, give him some ibuprofen. But the seatbelt sign had been on, but he really needed his treatment. And so I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't. So I go in the bathroom, I close the door, and they come over the speaker. just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, it is illegal to be standing while the seatbelt sign is on. I was like, I'm really sorry. Oh man, I'm having a hard time. It's not my intention to break rules or, I swear, but just I needed to get my son, what he needed. And I could have done it in the seat, but that would have been really hard for myself and everybody around us. At any rate, got to Phoenix, almost missed our layover because we were on the tarmac for an hour and a half and we had an hour and a half layover. So we had 5 minutes in Phoenix, got to our flight, got on, more nebulizer treatments, landed in San Jose, and then went straight to the urgent care from San Jose. Yeah, a steroid shot and 2 nebulizer treatments later, he was breathing better. But his oxygen was at 95%, which was crazy. And I was like, this is why we needed to come home. Like, he needed to be seen. And I know that's what happens when he gets sick. So just, needed to get some help. Anyways, he's much better. But yeah, that sick went, then I got sick and then my husband was sick this week. And so anyways, we're all better. Everybody's good, but this is why I need him to stop licking everything and chewing on bus seats and, licking his hand and putting his crock in his mouth and all of the disgusting things that 2-year-olds do. Yeah.
He's building his immune system.
And ours, apparently, because I have never been this sick this often until I had kids. So anyways, but overall, it was an amazing trip. Just that end was a little rough. So.
That is rough. And you have an extra long trek home since you're all the way on the West Coast.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a blessing to see my mom and sister at the airport. I was like, I need your help, please. I had been fighting back tears all day. I'm like, he needs me, but also I need my mom. I'm like, I'm having a hard time. And, my husband and I are doing the best we can, but sometimes you just need your mom.
Yeah. So overall, pretty good experience. I know that you like going to Disney World, but that it's a long way away. So how often do you think you'll plan to go in the future?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be back for a few years. It is more expensive to get out there for us than it is to do Disneyland, which is funny because I hear people say the vice versa. Oh, well, it's so cheap for us to do Disney World, but the case is not the same for us. It was 4 years between these 2 trips. I would say probably similar, but like you said, we do Disneyland a couple times a year. So still getting that Disney fix, but it's just a lot to get all the way out to Florida. Yeah. I wish we could go more often. It's my happy place. I think I actually prefer Disney World, which I know is crazy. It's an unpopular opinion, if you will, but I just love Disney World. So I love the bubble. I love everything about it.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I was going to say. If you like being in the bubble, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. I love all the lakes. I love the transportation. I love that I don't have to walk down Harbor Boulevard. Although I do have a soft spot for the man that stands at the entrance to Disneyland with a parrot on his shoulder because I've seen him since I was 8. It's different. So,
yeah, I don't like having to choose between the 2.
Yeah.
You know what? Some of us just get to go to both, and is what it is.
Right. Absolutely. So we will be back, just probably not for a few years. And maybe next time with another small human. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. And Maverick will be much older, and he will probably not have the same kind of challenges as this trip.
Yeah. My husband and I, Marcus, we were joking. We're like, maybe we go and leave the baby. Maybe we don't bring him back. Maybe we just do an adult trip because, I'm glad we did it and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But also there's something to be said for just the 2 of us having some time and, reconnecting in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, parents have to refill their cups too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, with all the busyness and challenges and everything, I appreciate you keeping good notes so that you could share it with us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. I was super excited to come on.
All right. Thanks. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed those conversations with Alyssa. We did keep talking on the after chat. I specifically wanted to ask her about her experience with the Disney College program, which wasn't all that long ago for her. I wanted to know how it worked and what she thought of the experience. And so we chatted. That is up in video and audio form on Patreon. So if you're not already a patron, feel free to join us. That will wrap up this episode of WDW Prep School. For more information, please check the show notes in your podcast app or head to the website wdwprepschool.com. Click on podcast at the top, scroll down to episode 478. Until next time, I will see you on the site.